Ladies and gents, boys and girls, what is going on? Happy Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. And I'll start this show by saying this: to hell with the University of Georgia. Feels good to be good. Feels good to get the W here on this Tuesday. Of course, the conversation, we were all expecting to be having, right? No, I appreciate you all tuning in, man. Very, very excited to rock TDC a little bit later than normal. But of course, the game this morning, South Carolina in dominating fashion takes down the Georgia Bulldogs. We'll talk that. Also, we will break down and preview tomorrow's matchup. South Carolina gets their game 3 against the LSU Tigers tomorrow morning in Hoover. Again, more on that later in the show. And of course, we'll take your questions, your comments, and your calls in our third hour. Also, the troller who texted me and said that you suck as bad as they do, or they suck as bad as you do, go choke on a you-know-what. He just texted me and said, God, you are a douche. And he also says, what else did he say here? I said, I love you too, Gamecocks. I'm a Gamecock fan, and Jesus, you are a douche. So winners are winning, slapdicks are slapdicking, and we're having a great time here on this Tuesday. Again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Be sure to leave your questions, your comments, your calls at 843-790-3377. You can also flood the YouTube chat. We will be rocking until 4:30. So you can think to yourself, a normal show, just an hour and a half later. Of course, we'll also, by the way, appreciate him being flexible. We'll have JC Sherbert of Inside the Gamecocks. He will join us at 2:45. So try to keep up the times with me. 1:30 start. 2:45. We'll have JC Sherbert on probably until, what would that be, about 3:15 or so? 3:15. And then after his conversation, we'll take all of your questions, your comments, your calls in our power hour. Of course, guys, if you miss anything, you can't stay the whole time, be sure you can check the podcast version of the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. You can check it all out there. Also, you can watch the replay on YouTube. So again, be sure to subscribe, to rate the show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. Be sure you subscribe on YouTube and hit that bell icon so you get notifications when we go live and when we drop new video content as well. But I see Brandon, Travi, Madison, John, Edward, Cody Gaskins, Trip, GA, Brennan M, Ethan, Will Hall, Airting Irie, Madison Duncan, Brian Dean. What's going on? Also, those in the Big Cock Club Discord, however, the TDC Questions channel, the TDC Questions channel, to be sure your questions are answered there. By the way, guys, be sure, hey, we watched the game together in the Big Cock Club Discord, and we had an absolute blast. That was a lot of fun. We had about 10 or 15 people in there watching the game together. Be sure to join today, patreon.com/Big Cock Club. Patreon.com/Big Cock Club. Also, the link is in all of our social media, all of our link in bios, if you will. You can join there. And again, we'll be streaming all the games. So, hey, if you don't have cable, you don't want to pay for SEC Network, you don't have to deal with it. You can watch it with us, $9.99 a month. Also, you get 20% off of merchandise, and there are other perks as well. So, again, patreon.com/Big Cock Club. Join us because we'll be streaming in there yet again tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern, for South Carolina's game against LSU. Again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. This just happening. Mark Kingston, on tomorrow's starting pitcher against LSU, quote, do you have a coin that we can flip? So they do not know. It is TBD. I would imagine LSU is also TBD. By the way, guys, quick side note. You guys might recall when South Carolina took on LSU in baseball, we went on Jake Ruffino's show, AYS Sports. They're at AYS Sports on social media, on Twitter specifically. I'm not sure if they're on anything else, but AYS Sports. We went on their show earlier in the season. He hit me up immediately after, and they go live on Twitter and on YouTube and all that good stuff. So we will be on there live tonight at 8:30. So if you want to tune in and hear the LSU side of things and just get more content from yours truly, I'll be sure to post the links. And again, we'll go live with them. With that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. We got a lot to discuss, and I'm very excited because for the first time since 2018, if you can believe it, South Carolina baseball has won a game in Hoover, Alabama. Gamecocks taking out the Georgia Bulldogs in dominating fashion by a final score of 9-0. It's funny, I don't even have the statistics pulled up in front of me because I was so excited to hit the live button. Let's get the stats pulled up here. Gamecocks win this game 9-0. And I'll say this, guys, I think we all felt like this was very possible. This is a South Carolina team that early in the season, of course, this was the first SEC series of the season. It was opening weekend in SEC play. And the Gamecocks, after a really tough game one, right, a game in which Michael Braswell had to hit the walk-off, the go-ahead RBI, and you win that game, I believe the score was 5-4. You run rule the Dogs twice in 7 innings. So I think we all felt like, hey, this is a team that South Carolina not just can beat, but has beat and has beat like a drum. And I thought you saw more of that in this ball game. Guys, you got to start with James Hicks. I mean, what a performance. 6 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts on the day. And for a team that was struggling, right, for a team that has been struggling, they showed the graphic, which I thought was crazy offensively. They showed the graphic, the way the Gamecocks have been struggling, swinging the stick of late. Get this in case you missed it. Over the first 6 SEC series, South Carolina went 13-4, hit .269 with 38 home runs, and they were averaging scoring 8.4 runs per game. Over the last 4 series, the Gamecocks went 3-9, hit .223, just 9 home runs, had 38 in the first 17 SEC games, had 9 in their last 12, average scoring just 3.3 runs per game. Also, you had some inconsistencies here and there in the field and on the bump. And so I talked about a lot. The Gamecocks just needed something good to happen, just needed somebody to step up and set the tone. And, man, James Hicks absolutely gave you that, man. Again, 6 2/3 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, none earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. And the efficiency with, by the way, the way he worked. I know it got kind of out of hand in the 7th inning a little bit there, but the efficiency, just filling up the zone, going after hitters. It was a beautiful sight. How about the bottom of the order for South Carolina in this one as well? Will Tippett, have a freaking day. I mean, have a freaking day, Will Tippett. 3 for 4, 3 RBI. Evan Stone, 2 for 3, 2 RBI. 5 RBI from Will Tippett and Evan Stone. Exactly how we drew it up. Exactly how we all drew it up, right? You then have Michael Braswell, 1 for 4 with 1 ribby. Ethan Petrie, 1 for 3 with a ribby. And Dylan Brewer, 1 for 4 with a ribby as well. And just like I mentioned, a dominating performance across the board. South Carolina early in that game, I believe, what was it? Let's see. Let's get the box score here. Excuse me, guys. Let's get the box score. I believe it was the 3rd inning. South Carolina really started to break it open. Okay, bottom of the 2nd, 2 RBIs. Bottom of the 4th when you scored 3 runs. Bottom of the 7th, you had the 3-run triple by Tippett. I thought the offensive approach was solid, guys. 12 hits in the ballgame. I think you had like 9 hits through 4 innings. And you saw South Carolina sort of return to what had made them successful early on. We knew it hadn't really gone anywhere. We just hadn't seen that same level of execution. We saw patience. We saw timely hitting. No home runs in the ball game. Hoover's a very tough place, as we talked about, to hit the long ball. It's a very big ballpark, deep gaps. It was also, a wet day, rainy day. I don't even know if game 2 of the tournament's going to happen today because the rain's coming in. So the air's real heavy, right? Going to be real tough to leave the yard. But South Carolina just putting together productive at bat after productive at bat after productive at bat. And again, it's so encouraging to see the bottom of this lineup producing, because I tell you, you feel confident that guys like, okay, Cole Messina is going to get it going, right? You feel like, or at least you want to believe, Ethan Petrie is going to get it going. And to be fair, he hadn't hit a home run in quite some time, but he's been swinging the stick, I think, much better. He's been swinging the stick much, much better, I feel, right? Late in that game, bottom of the 8th, had the sac fly to left that scored Evan Stone. So has had more productive at-bats, I think, of late, and I think the home run will come for him. And I think when it comes, it'll come in bunches. But to get that type of production from the bottom of the lineup is just massive. It's massive. Because, again, you feel confident that, your guys like Braylon Wimmer, who, by the way, went 2 for 4 today, quietly 2 for 4, right? And I believe I'm looking at this lineup graphic. I think these are old statistics because, okay, never mind. Carson Hornung did pinch hit. I was like, did he play today? I must have somehow missed that. Either way, Braylon Wimmer goes 2 for 4 the DH spot. Cole Messina, 0 for 3 with a ribby. He'll get it going. You feel good about Talmadge. Lecroy went 2 for 5, right? Gavin Costas, 0 for 3, but he'll get it going. So, you feel confident in those guys, but to get the type of production, get this, guys. Your 7, 8, 9 hitters, just doing the math really quickly off the top of my head, went 6 for 11 today with 6 RBI. Get that. Your 7, 8, 9 went 6 for 11 with 7 RBI. That's Will Tippett, Dylan Brewer, and Evan Stone. Who would have thought those guys, with all due respect to them, would have been the heroes of today's ball game? I also want to make sure that we give a lot of praise right now to Cade Austin. I know Cade Austin's a guy, much maligned, especially by some. I know some out there are not the biggest fans of Cade Austin. And admittedly, listen, we've all been frustrated with Cade at times. He's been really, really good this year. He has been very frustrating to watch at times. But today was the best version, or damn near the best version, of Cade Austin in relief. 2.1 innings pitched, 1 hit, no runs, no earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. And, of course, guys, he comes into that pivotal situation in the 7th, 2 outs, bases loaded. Right at that point, it's still only a 5-0 game, and Georgia's got bases loaded. They get a knock there, and who knows, right? Momentum is a fickle mistress. They get a knock there, game turns on itself. You never know what might happen. And Cade Austin made a huge pitch. A huge pitch low and in to get the Yardcocks going, get him off the field, of course, and keep James Hicks' slate clean, keep his run total clean, which is a big deal. I know James Hicks probably going to buy him a candy bar or something like that to say thank you. But Cade Austin, getting him, man, he's a guy that I talked about, right? And I talked about, hey, what did we say? What did we say yesterday coming in this game? Key player of the game, Cade Austin. Because he's going to be asked to, in a big pivotal situation, he's going to be your first guy out of the bullpen. And yes, it was 5-0. But like I mentioned, Georgia has bases loaded. They get a knock there. You're thinking, oh my God, here we go again. Maybe it's 5-2 or 5-3, and the wheels could come off. So a great job by Cade Austin out of relief. And of course, it all starts, guys, with James Hicks. We normally, last year I did TSUS midweek MVPs. And obviously right now we do our weekend series MVPs, but I'm going to just hand out the MVP of this ball game to James Hicks. It's got to go to James Hicks. The way he set the tone in this game, just when you think about what South Carolina has on the line in regards to fighting for a hosting spot for a regional, when you think about what they've got on the line, this was single elimination, winner advances, loser goes home. James Hicks has been shaky. He's been okay, but he's been shaky of late. Hasn't been that dominant version of James Hicks we saw early in the season. When you think about the pressure and what was on the line, what a masterful performance by James Hicks. The sinker you could see was working early. A lot of movement on his pitches today. 6 2/3 innings pitched. Again, 4 hits, no runs, no earned, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and was so efficient through 90 pitches. I don't see the breakdown here. Let's see. Is there a breakdown how many were strikes? Yeah, 90 pitches, 63 of those were strikes. And also, too, Cade Austin, 36 pitches, 23 were strikes. So South Carolina on the bump between Hicks and Austin did a great job of attacking the zone going right at these hitters, going right after, by the way, a very talented Georgia offense. That's been the one thing they've done pretty well this year. A pretty good Georgia offense. I mean, you shut down Charlie Condon. You shut down Ben Anderson. Condon goes 0 for 4. Anderson goes 0 for 4, 2 Ks. Harbor, who killed you earlier in the season, he goes 1 for 3, 2 strikeouts. The only guy that really had success against you was the shortstop, Murillo. He went 3 for 3 with a walk. But, I mean, outside of that, no dog had more than 1 hit, and only 3 players in their entire lineup had a hit. Murillo goes 3 for 3. Then you got LaPlante, who went 1 for 4, Harbor 1 for 3, and that's literally it. So South Carolina pitching was masterful. We all know, guys, in the postseason, it begins and it ends with pitching. Great pitching beats great hitting, and that was certainly the case today. So, again, just a huge performance. And, again, the MVP is James Hicks, but definitely give that love to Cade Austin, man, because his outing coming in that 7th inning and getting that 3rd out was one of the biggest moments of this ball game. And, again, just a performance where, guys, you could see it. And I talked about this, and I know this isn't something that's really tangible, but we talked about, like, this team just needs something good to happen. It needs to feel like, for a change, that the breaks are going in the favor of the Gamecocks, right? Because it felt like over the last couple of weeks, right, the last 4 SEC series, that everything that could go wrong did go wrong for South Carolina. And I thought the moment today where you really knew, like, you know what, the baseball gods are finally not picking on us. The baseball gods, it finally feels like they're not just totally against us. Maybe today they're on our side, was that play at the plate. Michael Braswell hits a single. Dylan Brewer gets sent home, which a very bold sin there. As we can get our camera to adjust there. Nope, maybe not. Here we go. Okay, as we get the camera to adjust, guys. Technology is great until it isn't. But again, Michael Braswell hits the single. Dylan Brewer is sent home in a very bold sin by our guy, Scott Wingo. And lo and behold, he finds a way to get him, beat the tag, if you will, or get around the tag, or the tag's not applied. Just a crazy play in which Dylan Brewer is ruled safe. And that moment, to me, it felt like, you know what, like maybe something good is happening for us. Maybe the baseball gods aren't totally against us today. And that's sort of what I was talking about. You know what I mean? Like just having a positive break, something go your way to build the momentum and get things rolling. And that happened for the Yardcocks today. So a huge win, guys. What's next for South Carolina? Of course, we all know the rematch that we all wanted. Gamecocks, LSU tomorrow morning, yet again, more morning baseball, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time on the SEC Network. And guys, like I mentioned at the top of the show, if you want to watch the game along with yours truly and the rest of us in the Big Cock Club Discord, you can join the Big Cock Club today. Patreon.com/Big Cock Club. We'll be streaming every single South Carolina baseball game in the SEC tournament. And I would say, I'm confident saying throughout the postseason as well. We'll be streaming all the games in there. So, hey, why pay for cable? Why pay for ESPN Plus when you can just join the Big Cock Club Discord and watch the game along with us? And I'll tell you what feels so good, guys. What feels so good moving forward is this. With this win, we are guaranteed at minimum. Even if Carolina were to lose out the rest of the way, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but even if the Gamecocks have now moved to the double elimination portion of the SEC tournament, we are guaranteed baseball through Thursday. That feels so good. Congrats to us all who love the Yardcocks, who love Gamecocks baseball, and who love watching it. Man, I cannot wait. We finally have some baseball to follow along with in Hoover. And by the way, I do want to mention this because it's a very big deal. We all know the Gamecocks struggles in Hoover. It's been very up and down, and most of the time it's been down. That was the first shutout South Carolina has ever pitched in their history playing in the SEC tournament. Like when you think about the great arms that have come through Columbia, like when you really think about that, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. So congratulations to James Hicks, Cade Austin for making that happen. Justin Parker, the pitching coach as well. Huge win today. And I know, listen, guys, I'll say this. I know Georgia, they're not a great team. They're not Arkansas. They're not LSU. They're not Florida. They're not Vandy, what have you. But this ball club just needed to beat somebody. Just beat somebody and have something to feel good about, right? Because we all know the situation you're in. You got to win a couple. You probably need to win one more, I'd say, to realistically feel good about, hey, we're going to be hosting postseason baseball, right? Probably need to win one more. If you win two more, I think you're a lock. But this team just needed something to feel good about, and you finally got it in the form of a 9-0 shutout victory over the Georgia Bulldogs. Guys, we're going to jump into our first break of the day on the other side. Hey, we're breaking down tomorrow's game. South Carolina will take on LSU as the Yardcocks move to the double elimination portion of the SEC tournament. We'll have a full game preview for you guys. All that and more on the side as we keep the conversation going here on this Tuesday. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. Attention all Gamecocks seafood lovers. Are you tired of searching for the freshest seafood in town? Look no further than the Carolina Fish Market, your go-to destination for the finest and most flavorful seafood in the Carolinas and beyond. Introducing the new Carolina Seafood Subscription Box, a culinary delight delivered right to your doorstep. Each month, you'll receive a carefully curated selection of fresh local seafood sourced directly from the waters of the Carolinas and beyond. From succulent shrimp to mouth-watering grouper to flounder or tuna and everything in between, their subscription box brings the ocean's bounty straight to your Gamecock kitchen. What sets the Carolina Fish Market apart is their commitment to quality and sustainability. They work closely with local fishermen and women who use responsible fishing practices, ensuring that every bite you take supports both your taste buds and our precious marine ecosystems. They've even won Best Seafood 5 out of the last 8 years. But that's not all. They're offering free shipping to all TSUS listeners on every Carolina Seafood subscription box, making it even easier for you to indulge in the flavors of the coast. Experience the convenience and joy of having fresh seafood delivered right to your door without any of the hassle. Don't miss on this incredible opportunity to elevate your culinary adventures with the Carolina Fish Market's Carolina Seafood Subscription Box. Join the seafood enthusiasts across the nation who are savoring the taste of the Carolinas, one delectable bite at a time, and just in time for Father's Day. Visit their website today at carolinafishmarket.com. That's carolinafishmarket.com, and embark on a seafood journey like no other. Freshness, flavor, and convenience await you. Order your Carolina Seafood subscription box now and use the promo code SPURSUP, that's SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. Again, that's promo code SPURSUP, SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. The Carolina Fish Market, where taste meets the ocean.
Muscle Dougie, ho.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Again, guys, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. I see all of the questions, the comments all rolling in our YouTube chat. Please continue to do so. And again, in our Power Hour, hour number 3, we will take all of those questions, those comments, and your calls. If you want to go ahead and call in, or if you can call in between that 3:30 to 4:30 hour, you are more than welcome to do so. But again, really excited to hear from you all. And again, keep the conversation going. Like I said, in case you missed it, JC Sherbert, he will also join us at 2:45 today. 2:45 today to break down everything that just happened. Also, we'll throw in some South Carolina football talk in there. Also, this is a bit of a side note. Maybe we'll discuss this tomorrow, maybe not, because, of course, now, thank goodness, we have baseball to talk about all week. But what's the best way to wish this? Happy preseason magazine season. There's the words I'm looking for. Sometimes words are hard. Happy preseason college football magazine has officially hit the shelves today, and you can bet your ass I'll be on the way to the nearest Publix or the nearest wherever is going to have the magazine to pick one up and dive into that. For all of us college football junkies out there, preseason college football junkies, if you will, those preseason magazines are a must-have. I'm talking Athlon, I'm talking Lindy, I'm talking my guy Brett Ciancia at Pick Six Previews, I'm talking Phil Steele, everything. So, anyways, guys, moving on. Of course, again, Gamecocks get the big 9-0 dub over Georgia. Was just hitting up my guy AYS Sports, LSU entity, if you will. Asked him about who they will be starting. He said it wouldn't surprise me if Thatcher Hurd or Blake Money will start for LSU. Right now, we know nothing. Mark Kingston has said, who wants to flip a coin on who will start? With that being said, guys, that brings us to this. The rematch that we all so desperately wanted, Gamecocks and LSU, after not getting a third game earlier in the season, these two teams will face off tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern in Hoover, Alabama. Cannot wait to see it. Again, Gamecocks, LSU. Let me see. Let me get this all pulled up here. Again, guys, I was so excited to go live here. There's so much that I did not even get ready. Let me get the bracket pulled up as well. Get the bracket pulled up. This is just great content right here. Me trying to get myself organized. Okay. Anyways, the rematch that we all wanted, South Carolina taking on the 3 seed LSU. The Tigers will be the home team in Hoover, Alabama tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. Eastern first pitch. And like I mentioned, guys, these two teams faced off earlier in the season. They split the series 1-1. Of course, you might recall a third game was not able to be played because for some reason in the SEC, there's a rule that you only have 3 days to play 3 games. So, of course, because of weather, you might recall Game 2 was moved up, I believe, noon on Friday. That was a game in which Cade Austin actually came into. Things did not go the Yardcocks' way late in that game. Gavin Dugas hits the big home run, and LSU takes Game 2 after a emphatic Game 1 win. You might recall rain played a factor in that one as well, when both Will Sanders and Paul Skeens were forced out of that ball game early. Ethan Petrie, of course, goes off in that one. And that was really the first night, guys, where you felt like, okay, South Carolina, they look like and probably should be the number 1 team in the country. And, of course, not getting that Game 3, right? You split that series, a lot of talk, a lot of smack back and forth between Gamecocks and LSU fans, and both of these teams will get their opportunity to make a statement tomorrow morning. The head coach, of course, of LSU, guys, Jay Johnson, he led the Tigers this year to a 42-13, 19-10 SEC record. I mean, they had a great year, but was it a bit of a surprise that, LSU was this team being heralded in the preseason, number 1 all everything, that nobody's going to beat them. They added Tommy Tanks. They added Paul Skeens. Who is going to take down LSU? And they don't even win their division? Arkansas, the SEC West champion, both Arkansas and Florida, your co-SEC champions. It just goes to show how in college baseball and the SEC, certainly, there are so many good teams, and you never know what's going to happen. But certainly I would not say LSU, had a bad season by any stretch. 42-13, 19-10 SEC play. They are the 3 seed in the SEC tournament. Who will they start on the bump? Again, guys, we just mentioned it. My good friend AYS Sports reached out to him over the break and said, hey, who do you think? Any clue who you think will start for the Tigers? He said he wouldn't surprise him if it's Thatcher Hurd or Blake Money. So really what matters is if the Gamecocks are not going to see Paul Skeens. For all of you who are wondering, South Carolina will not see Paul Skeens tomorrow, which I did not expect that. But we do not know. It is TBD. Jay Johnson has not made an announcement on who LSU will start in this ball game. I'm sure that's something we'll find out later today. When you look at the offensive side, of course, LSU guys led the SEC in hitting a .310 overall team average, and they are fantastic, man. The individual stars in this ball club, they are all over the place when you look at players to watch for. Of course, you got to start with Dylan Cruz, back-to-back SEC Player of the Year. I mean, that is absolutely insane. He hit .423 for the Tigers this year, 14 home runs, and 57 RBI. You then got to go to Tommy White. Tommy Tanks, ho-hum type of season, right? 389, 20 bombs, 89 RBI. That number just jumps off the page. And then finally, Jared Jones, who hit 307, 14 home runs, and 45 RBI. Guys, of course, I didn't even mention Gavin Dugas has been fantastic as well. They are great 1 through 9. Again, hitting .310 as a team this season. And I think we all know what they're capable of because we saw it firsthand in that game 2, especially at Founders Park. For South Carolina, who's starting? Again, Mark Kingston said, hey, flip a coin. I mean, when I think about, guys, realistic options for the Yardcocks tomorrow, and that's how we'll start in regards to our top storylines, what to watch for in this ball game. Simply put, I mean, who gets the start? Who do they roll with? What's the pitching strategy, if you will, right? What's the strategy on the bump? We talked about in a single elimination game, right? What your strategy would be. And obviously the strategy was get the most out of James Hicks. He gave you a fantastic performance. He made it, when a guy's pitching like that, he makes it really easy on you, right? There ain't a lot of moves you got to make when a guy like James Hicks is pitching the way he did. But who do you go with? I mean, do you turn to a guy like Sam Simpson who started in the midweek? Do you go to with a Dylan Eskew? Do you start a Nick Proctor and try to get 3-4 innings out of him and then go from there, Johnny Holstaff? Do you dare bump Eli Jones up a day, right? Who do you go with here? Is Will Sanders healthy enough to go? I know that he's not. I don't know. I don't know. That's a great question. Who does South Carolina throw out there? Who gets the start? Again, I got to think it's going to be, is there a Brett Thomas? I mean, I'm throwing out names that have not seen a ton of action this year, but guys, we know pitching depth. And I tell you this, and I know that there's nothing we can do about it, but this is a moment where you'd love to have Eli Jersen back. I mean, you just would love to have a guy like Eli Jersen back to roll out there. If Noah Hall was healthy, that pitching depth that you did have at one point. But again, it'll be interesting to see. They've got quality options. I think you got quality arms that are ready to go. I mean, God, does a Chris Veach, is he ready to go? Could you for whatever reason start Chris Veach? Could that happen? You never know, man. Got to get creative in postseason play. The big storyline, guys, to watch for are the Gamecocks. I jokingly tweeted, by the way, are we back? I jokingly tweeted. And that's my favorite part, by the way. It's a total side note. One of my favorite parts on Twitter is the fact that people just flat out cannot sense sarcasm, like at all, right? People cannot sense any sort of sarcasm, and so it just leads to pure and utter chaos. But the Gamecocks get the big dub for Georgia. And I know Georgia's Georgia. But just having something to feel good about, your first win in Hoover since 2018, your first ever shutout in Hoover. Could we now see this team? We've all been sort of waiting on like that big performance. Because even over the last 2 weekends, when the Gamecocks beat Arkansas and then beat Tennessee, I mean, those were nice wins. But, I mean, when they're sandwiched by losses and the way you won, too, it's not like you went out there and just dominated, right? Like, you leaned on Jack Mahoney and his pitching prowess and all that, but they weren't these dominating wins. That game today, that win today was one of those dominating performances, right? It was one of those dominating type of games where you feel like, maybe that's one that can get the mojo going. Maybe that's one where, you can start to feel like yourself again and play with that confidence and play with that swagger. and play with that moxie that you had earlier in the season. I mean, again, it's not even about like, if we don't score double-digit runs or we don't hit this many home runs, just looking the part. South Carolina hasn't looked the part over the last few weeks, right? Today, they looked the part. So could that be the breaking point? Could that be the thing that needed to happen to get South Carolina off the schneid, get them feeling good again? Because like we mentioned, guys, momentum's a fickle mistress, right? But momentum's a real thing in the game of baseball. It's all a mental game, especially when you're talking about a bunch of 18 to 22-year-old kids. And so maybe, hey, something good happens, you have success, you build confidence, then you have more success, then you get more confident, and it is a snowball effect. And of course, as we've talked before, it works both ways. So maybe South Carolina is able to find something out of that 9-0 win against Georgia and carry that into the game against LSU, or was Georgia just a one-off? I mean, it's going to be really interesting to see how this team looks, whether you win or lose, how this team looks in this ball game tomorrow. Guys, I just mentioned it, the strategy, though, entering double elimination play. What is the strategy? I'm so fascinated to see who the Gamecocks start, how long they keep them in. Again, do you bump a guy like Eli Jones up? I mean, do you dare do that? I mean, on one hand, he's pitching on short rest. On the other hand, you could argue, hey, if that's the last time he pitches before the regionals, before postseason play really kicks in, he's going to get extra rest for that. So they're not going to put pitchers in a position where they're going to hurt him, obviously. I don't think Eli Jones will be the guy. But, what is the strategy? And offensively as well, man. I mean, you feel like South Carolina, LSU, they're going to score. We've got to score. Are there any tinkering with the lineup, what have you? Whatever it is, really intrigued to see how Kingston and company attack this in tomorrow's game. Guys, something else I'm looking forward to. I mean, the bottom of the lineup, like we mentioned, they were incredible today with Will Tippett, Dylan Brewer, and Evan Stone. Can they continue to carry the load? Do we get more? Do you see more out of the top of the lineup? Again, I think we all feel confident, guys like Cole Messina, Gavin Cassis, Talmadge Lecroy, Braylon Wimmer, Michael Braswell, those guys, Ethan Petrie, that you depend on at the top of the lineup. You feel confident they'll get it going. But I tell you what, if you can get just even 50% of the production you got from the bottom, I mean, Mark Kingston has said it before, guys. He said it before. Hey, they're out there for the defense. Any offense they give us is a plus. How about 6 hits and 5 runs worth of offense? Absolutely huge. And, I know that Mark Kingston had talked a lot, and I've talked about it before too, that I like Will Tippett a lot. I like his game a lot, and Kingston's mentioned that, hey, over the last couple of weeks, we're really liking what Tippett's doing, and, I think he's primed for a great career at South Carolina, and I think today you saw sort of a glimpse of that. So, man, if you can keep that bottom of the lineup, and, hey, hitting is contagious, so maybe it had to start with some unlikely heroes, and that can spread to the rest of your lineup. Also, guys, I don't even have this in my notes, but this comes to mind. I think a big storyline in this game is the LSU bullpen. I mean, they've been atrocious this year. They've been terrible. If you've watched any LSU baseball, I mean, their starting rotation, very good. Their offense is incredible. Their bullpen, though, that's the weakness of the LSU baseball team. Like, you look at that series, the last one they just had against Mississippi State, I mean, their bullpen is just a wreck. And so South Carolina, I think you have to keep the mentality, even if you fall down early, like, you're not out of it. You're not out of it because that bullpen is susceptible to giving up 2-3 runs, a crooked number, what have you. You are always in the ball game. So LSU's bullpen, their pitching strategy, who they go with, they've had extra rest, of course, because they didn't play today. They got the bye. But that's going to be really interesting because that LSU pen, like I said, they have been a train wreck throughout this year. Guys, finally, what I'm looking forward to, I mentioned at the top of the show, but man, this is the rematch we all wanted. This is the one where after that third game got canceled, and it was such a shame, and I remember vividly that day when Carolina lost game 2 and game 3 got canceled. You got LSU fans saying, oh, y'all didn't want to play us. Y'all were scared. We're going to take the series. Like, it's whatever. Blah, 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 blah. And it was such a shame. Like, me as a college baseball fan, as a Gamecock fan, though, I'm sitting there like, it's just such a shame that we get robbed of seeing these two teams go at it, two of the best teams in college baseball. Now we get that game. Now you get that game here on a huge stage in Hoover, because of rain today, by the way. I didn't even mention this. Will it start at 10:30? I have no idea. I'm not looking at the weather right now in Hoover, but we shall see. Rain delays and Hoover go together like I don't even know what, man. It's just commonplace. Death taxes and rain delays in Hoover. It happens. But either way, this is the rematch that we were all hoping for. Carolina, LSU, two programs with tons of tradition, two, dare I say, really, really good ball clubs this year. These two teams have gone on sort of different trajectories since they played each other early in the season, but still, South kind of sitting there now with 17 SEC wins, LSU with 19, so they're right there neck and neck. And, you think, too, just what's on the line, right? Carolina chasing an SEC tournament title, LSU doing the same. Gamecocks, though, LSU's already got, I think, top 8 national seed locked up. They lose 2, it doesn't really matter. They're top 8 national seed. Gamecocks are fighting just to host a regional. And like I mentioned, you split with them earlier in the year. I think both these sides are going to be really, really motivated to prove, no, we were the better team. No, we were the better team. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch, man. And while it may not be your game 3 starters or what, from the weekend series, if you will, this is going to be a lot of fun, man. There's some extra juice in this one. And I'll say this too, LSU, and I think Blake Ruffino, if he hears this, will get a kick out of it. I think LSU is a team that it's very easy to hate them because of the cast of characters they have on their ball club. It's very, very easy to hate LSU. I look at the 2023 LSU Tigers like you look at the New York Yankees. Like they went out and bought their roster. They got Tommy Tanks. They got Paul Skeens, right? They put it together like the Yankees. They're that team that is very, very easy to hate. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see if South Carolina can do something crazy, pull that upset and say, hey, we were the better team this year. We didn't get that game 3 at Founders Park we should have had. We should have won that series. We're going to prove that in this ball game. Guys, let's move to my key player for tomorrow's game. Key player for tomorrow's game against LSU. And this one, guys, is sort of low-hanging fruit. It is. But when I look at South Carolina beginning double elimination, when I look at the Gamecocks beginning now this stretch, facing one of the best teams in college baseball, you turn to your leaders. You turn to guys that have been there for you all year long. Cole Messina, for me, not just by the way what he does swinging the stick, but I think what he does behind the plate, catching these pitchers, I think it's very underrated, guys, because we saw it. When Cole Messina was playing third, this pitching staff did not look the same. So what Cole Messina, the value he gives you behind the plate, the value he gives you swinging the stick, I think getting Cole going right in the middle of the lineup is huge. Obviously, by the way, congratulations to he and Ethan Petrie for making the all-SEC team. But getting Cole Messina going in the middle of that lineup, because that was great to see today, right, with Will Tippett, Evan Stone, and Dylan Brewer. But you're probably, dare I say, you're probably not going to get that same production from them each and every single day. You got to get your big sticks going, and a guy like Cole Messina, I think, can get it rocking and rolling. And, hey, hitting's contagious, man. I think it could spread to the rest of that lineup. Which brings me into my prediction. We always reach a point. We always reach a point in every season, no matter the sport. We reach a point where, right, wrong, or indifferent, people feel as if, like, whatever I pick, the opposite happens. Like every single season, which isn't always the case. I'm not here to defend my predictions, but hey, I am the same guy that picked Carolina to beat Clemson in football. I am the same guy that picked a couple of series correct over the last couple of weeks. So I'm not always wrong. Hey, sometimes I'm wrong, but I'm not always wrong. Right? You make predictions all the time for every single game. Guess what? You're going to be wrong. You're going to miss some here and there. So yes, I picked South Carolina to lose to Georgia in the SEC tournament today. Now, did I think the Gamecocks had a better team than Georgia? Yes. Did I think the Gamecocks could beat Georgia? Absolutely yes. Did I hope they'd beat Georgia? Absolutely yes. And I almost made that pick like more out of principle than anything, right? Almost made that pick more out of principle in the sense of like, show us, right? I'm done giving you the benefit of the doubt. I'm done believing in something that I haven't seen over the last 4 weeks. Show me. And the Gamecocks did. Now here comes LSU, the big bad Bayou Bengals, the 3 seed in the SEC tournament. More morning baseball for the Gamecocks is what they're rewarded with for taking down Georgia. So much on the line for Carolina, as we mentioned earlier. When you think to yourself, hosting a regional, I mean, it would be huge for Carolina to get back to that point because we all know, right? We've talked about the statistics, and I don't have them pulled up, but your odds of advancing, going to Omaha, they are significantly improved when you are hosting a regional versus going on the road. Getting postseason baseball back to Founders Park. That is a very, very big deal. Who starts? We have no idea, but I'm going to pick the game anyways. We have no clue who's starting for either side as of 2:16 p.m. Eastern here on this Tuesday afternoon. South Carolina, have they found some momentum? Are the Gamecocks back? Maybe. Maybe not. While LSU did not win the SEC West this year, they didn't win the SEC. Did they fall short of expectations? I think it's always been the postseason for them is what matters. They win the national. If they do or don't win the national championship, that's what their fans care about. I think you're going to see this Gamecocks baseball team play much better. I think it's going to be. I think this team will go into tomorrow very confident, expecting to win, re-energized because, hey, it's not do or die. It's not win or go home. You can play maybe a little bit more loose. The intensity and the energy still there, but it's not like, oh my God, if we lose, we're done, right? I think that will help this team relax. I think that will help this team play, again, a little bit more loose, a little bit more confident, and have some fun out there. But LSU's LSU, and they are elite. I know this was a great series earlier in the season. Would South Carolina had taken game 3? Would LSU have taken it? The Tigers had all the momentum. And I don't know who LSU's starting. We don't know who the Gamecocks start. A couple of weeks ago, if Eli Jersenbeck's healthy, if you were a little bit healthier on the mound, I would think you had this was a better matchup. But I think an LSU lineup, and they did a really good job with Dylan Cruz last time. Let's bring that to the forefront as well. This is a pitching staff that did a really good job handling Dylan Cruz and the threat that he is. Again, 423, 14 bombs, 57 ribbies, back-to-back years. The player of the year in the SEC. That is just crazy. But this pitching staff did a great job attacking him. I'm sure the game plan will be the same. I think LSU is going to have too much, though. I believe more in LSU right now than I do South Carolina, even after beating Georgia. Beating Georgia was great. Don't get me wrong. Beating Georgia was great. But LSU was a different beast. For that reason, lock me in. Give me LSU 9, South Carolina 5. And before you say anything, guys, listen here. I will doubt this baseball team all the way to the SEC championship if I freaking have to. I will do that. I have no problem with that. But for now, I'm going Bayou Bengals 9, South Carolina 5. I think they've got more. They've also got an extra day of rest for their pitching staff. I think offensively, I think this will be more of an offensive game, but I think LSU's just got more in the tank. I think they've got more in the lineup. It feels like if there's a time for Ethan Petrie to really get going and pick things up, man, this is the game you need him to get going. This is the game you need Braylon Wimmer. You need Cole Messina. Like I mentioned, what Will Tippett, Evan Stone, and Dylan Brewer did today, that was great. But you know as well as I do, you're not going to get that on a day-in, day-out basis. Like, you're not. You need your big sticks. You need your big studs. Gavin Cassis is another. You need these guys to show up in a game like this. If they do, you have a great chance. Right now, I trust LSU more than South Carolina. Again, for that reason, lock me in. Bayou Bengals 9, Gamecocks 5. Guys, that being said, let's jump into another break. We keep the conversation going here on this Tuesday. We'll be back in 5. More on the other side. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. Attention all Gamecock seafood lovers. Are you tired of searching for the freshest seafood in town? Look no further than the Carolina Fish Market, your go-to destination for the finest and most flavorful seafood in the Carolinas and beyond. Introducing the new Carolina Seafood Subscription Box, a culinary delight delivered right to your doorstep. Each month, you'll receive a carefully curated selection of fresh local seafood sourced directly from the waters of the Carolinas and beyond. From succulent shrimp to mouth-watering grouper to flounder or tuna and everything in between, their subscription box brings the ocean's bounty straight to your Gamecock kitchen. What sets the Carolina Fish Market apart is their commitment to quality and sustainability. They work closely with local fishermen and women who use responsible fishing practices, ensuring that every bite you take supports both your taste buds and our precious marine ecosystems. They've even won Best Seafood 5 out of the last 8 years. But that's not all. They're offering free shipping to all TSUS listeners on every Carolina Seafood subscription box, making it even easier for you to indulge in the flavors of the coast. Experience the convenience and joy of having fresh seafood delivered right to your door without any of the hassle. Don't miss on this incredible opportunity to elevate your culinary adventures with the Carolina Fish Market's Carolina Seafood subscription box. Join the seafood enthusiasts across the nation who are savoring the taste of the Carolinas, one delectable bite at a time, and just in time for Father's Day. Visit their website today at carolinafishmarket.com. That's carolinafishmarket.com, and embark on a seafood journey like no other. Freshness, flavor, and convenience await you. Order your Carolina Seafood subscription box now and use the promo code SPURSUP, that's SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. Again, that's promo code SPURSUP, SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. The Carolina Fish Market, where taste meets the ocean.
Muscle Dougie, ho.
All right, guys, we're back Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Again, appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Guys, we got 20 minutes until JC Sherbert, and I don't have a third topic planned. So I think I'm going to jump into some questions early here. We'll jump into some questions early for the next 15 minutes or so. Then we'll jump into another break. Please don't throw stones. We're going to jump into one more break. And then we'll get JC Sherbert on the show at 2:45. In the meantime, though, let's get into these questions, these reactions, if you will, to Carolina's big win over the Georgia Bulldogs. Brian Dean, here we go. Says, great win by the Yardcocks, 9-0 over Georgia. Madison says, manhandled Georgia and shut them out. Where are all the naysayers? Madison, I'm right here, my guy. I picked a 7-3 loss. I'm right here. What's so funny, too, is I just texted my graphic guy, right? That my guy that makes these score graphics, Reese Creative. Shout out to Eric Reese. And I said, LSU 9, Carolina 5. I said, I'll doubt this team all the way to Omaha if I have to. And he says, I was about to say, if you send me another score prediction with us winning, I might just not make the graphic. So he understands the assignment. Let's see. Will Hall, that game definitely instilled a bit of confidence. Would LSU throw Skeens or would they save him? I don't think you're going to see Paul Skeens in this one again. Here's the thing, Will. They'd be rushing him back, and LSU doesn't have that much to play for where it's worth rushing your ace back in the game. I just don't see it. And it's double elimination, man. They're not going to rush Skeens back for that. So, Ethan, ain't over till it's over. Unsung heroes making statements. You love to see that, man. I mean, that's, bro, to have a championship caliber team, that's what you have to have. I mean, that's what you have to have, right? You have to have 1 through 9 and beyond step up. Like, there need to be different heroes. There needs to be different heroes. Brennan M says, how about them Gamecocks? Indeed. Travis says, all three phases played nicely today, pitching, hitting, and defense. Brandon says, Texas A&M made another win in the SEC tournament. Only 14 SEC wins. 14 SEC wins will get you in half of the time. By the way, guys, our friends over at D1Baseball.com, they'll be dropping new field of 64 projections each and every single day this week. So we're going to get a better idea, I think, tomorrow morning of kind of what this win does for Carolina. Does it, everybody's asking, are we hosting now? Are we hosting it? Well, I think we're going to get a good idea of at least what they think moving forward. By the way, quick side note as we look at the bracket. So South Carolina will now take on LSU. That game going to be at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. If the Gamecocks win that game, Carolina would play Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time. Okay? If they win that game against LSU, you get rewarded with a Thursday afternoon matchup at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, which I know we would all love. If you lose that game to LSU, South Carolina will play in the Thursday morning game at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. So if you don't want to play in the morning anymore, you got to win tomorrow. And if you win against LSU, you'll take on the winner of Arkansas and either Tennessee and A&M. I guess they're playing right now. If you lose that game, you'll take on the loser of Arkansas and whoever they play. So just to give you an idea of where the bracket sits right now. Let's see. Brandon says, JC broke the news yesterday that Dak Joyner was moving to running back full-time. Okay, we will get, again, JC going to jump on in about 15 minutes or so, and we'll have that conversation, Brandon. I'm very excited to chat with JC about that. Chase Floyd says, are we in the loser's bracket? Chase Floyd with peak slap dickery, as always. I love it. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate you. Let's see. Brandon, we're now 39-17, 17-13 SEC. Love it. Lynn Turner, first shutout in Hoover. Indeed. Brandon says, we could have run rule in today. We did. Panic Ritter staying on brand says it still doesn't save Mark Kingston's job. Ayrton Ivory, Austin struck out 3 of the first 6 that he faced. Yeah, he was very good. Kate Austin was very, very good. Brendan M said, thank you as always for the positivity, Panic Ritter. Let's see. Let's keep it moving. Lance Harbor says, keep the mojo. Brandon says, if we win one more, that put us at 40 wins and 18 SEC wins. It'd be hard to keep us from hosting then. Indeed. M. Colts, I'm worried about the pitching situation tomorrow, but it's nice to get a dominating win today. For sure. Yep, going to be very interesting to see who South Carolina will go with. I don't think teams go TBA in these games, do they? I mean, I think they normally name a starter. Let's see. Just continue to go through your questions. Joseph, try to tell you all the bats are going to show up. It's clear as day. He also says it's go time. Buy the stock. Buy the stock, my guy. Buy the stock indeed. How about Will Tippett, Joseph? Yes. Yes. Austin Miller said, I called 9-2 Cox. I was close. I hear you. Brandon says we gave up game 2 against LSU. We were up 6-3 in the 8th. LSU had a grand slam and won 7-6. Yeah, that was a tough one. That was a tough L. Stephanie Lee. Woohoo. Yes. Feels good to be good. Thank goodness. Brian Dean, when you hold down Charlie Condone, you've done something defensively. For sure. Yeah, no, for sure. It's Gamecocks did a great job of holding him down. No doubt. Frank. Oot, oot. Oot, oot, indeed, my guy. 102 days, Frank. 102 days. 102 days. Yep. Thursday's going to be fun. We might do something special for Thursday since it's 100 days to kick off. Roman says, into 3, A&M 1, Tennessee, nothing. Okay, A&M's up. Lynn Turner says, if we can get our mojo back now that we're getting healthy again, we'd be a really dangerous 2 seed. I wouldn't want us in my regionals a 2 seed. Well, I mean, I tell you this, Lynn, if we win one more game, I think we're a host. I really do. I think we're a host. I think we will be looked at much more favorably, and maybe the people that, put that all together, the field of 64, they'll remember and say, you know what, South Carolina got really cold late, but they're deserving because of the entire body of work. Because it's funny, if you flip-flop how the season went, I mean, look at Clemson. If you flip-flop how it went, we would be a no doubt host. It's because of the way we closed, right? My guy Brendan M. earlier in the show in the Big Cock Club Discord says 2023 LSU still can't hold a candle to the slapdickery that was the 2022 Tennessee Vols. John Edward agrees with Brendan. He says, pulling for A&M, I can't stand Tennessee and Tony Vitello. I hear you. I hear you. They're very hateable as well. Tony Vitello is a very easy to hate coach. I get that. Let's see. Again, A&M up 1-0. I'm really surprised there has not been a rain delay. That's maybe the biggest upset of the day. So the biggest upset of the day is no rain delay yet. So anyways, guys, keep the questions coming. Like I said, we've got JC Sherbert upcoming in about 10 minutes or so. JC Sherbert upcoming in about 10 minutes. Really excited to chat with JC. By the way, Baseball America dropped their projected field of 64 today. They actually have the Gamecocks as a 13 seed. So hosting a regional in Columbia. They've got the Gamecocks hosting, of course, Duke as the 2 seed, Oregon as the 3 seed, and Grand Canyon as the 4 seed. What a regional that would be. I mean, what a regional that would be. They've got Clemson as the 6 seed, so a top 8 national seed, hosting East Carolina as the 2, A&M as the 3, and Central Connecticut State as the 4. I tell you, that's a tough one. That's a tough one, man. East Carolina and A&M, both in your regional. Good luck. Bruin Nation, you're late to the show, but you're here, my friend. I appreciate you. I know Bruin Nation was proud of me for not posting that guy's phone number that sent me that slapdickery text, but I thought about it. But I'm like, you know what? People are so sensitive. If I post you're doxing so-and-so. I don't know, bro. I just like, you know what? Like, trust me, Bruin Nation. A lot of me wants to post it. A lot of me wants to post the number because it's almost like this is you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And so now it's like your prize is to get trolled by everyone because you're being a slapdick for no reason. So, I was tempted. Don't get me wrong. Roman says, y'all see Penn. Yes, Penn won the conference out. They are in the tournament. Yeah, Penn was a very good team. Penn is a good ball club for sure. Yep, Penn is a good ball club. No doubt. Again, guys, hey, thank you all so much, by the way, for tuning in the Daily Crow. I know today's kind of crazy. This week, we're going to be just, it's going to be a crazy week. You can expect the same exact format tomorrow. Of course, first pitch, barring any delays, weather, whatever, is set for 10:30 a.m. Eastern, and we'll try to go live 1:30, 2 o'clock, basically just about 15, 20 minutes after the game concludes, right? So appreciate you guys, like I said, rolling with the punches and, sticking it out with us, if you will. So always good stuff. Always good stuff. The weird thing about tomorrow, though, is this. We will not know who the Gamecocks will play. No matter whether they win or lose, we're not going to know who South Carolina plays until later in the day, because that game against Arkansas, or with Arkansas and whoever wins A&M Tennessee, has to take place. So we will not have any sort of preview on TDC tomorrow, but we'll find something to fill the time. No doubt. It'll be a good time. It'll be a very good time. But again, I appreciate you all rolling with the punches, obviously tuning in. It feels great. Dude, think about how long it's been. Think about truly how long it's been since we jumped on the Daily Crow and there was a win to talk about. Think about that. I mean, literally, I was wondering why I've been feeling kind of off. Not in like a bad way, but I'm like, why do I feel kind of off? I'm like, bro, it's because we haven't won in forever. We've lost 4 straight SEC series, right? 4 straight SEC series. Lose Charlotte midweek. Lose North Florida midweek. I mean, the last time we felt even halfway decent was when you beat Winthrop, right? I mean, and I was on a cruise at that point. Yeah, I was on a cruise at that point. So, I mean, and by the way, to be fair, that's actually a really good. I'm glad this just came up, because Brendan M blames me a lot and says the cruise was the undoing. Hey, Slapdick, I watched Carolina lose to Auburn 8-3 that Friday at home. I was at home, so I didn't. They already that downfall began, my friend, before I even left. So I want to set the record straight. But I mean, Winthrop, I mean, dude, it's been the Florida series, like, it's been a long time since I really felt like we had like a true victory show. Like, it's just been forever. It's been literally weeks. So, man, feels good to be talking about a win. Feels good to be talking about a win. I appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Let's see. Scott Strickland on South Carolina, quote, I think they have a chance to go a long way, and I do think that they should host. Let's see. Mark Kingston on if James Hicks' performance today makes them look at him as a potential starter next week in a regional, quote, damn right. There you go. I'd be surprised if they said something different, to be honest with you, because, I mean, dude, James Hicks, like, why not? Why not? So you're trying to find some more intel here. Okay. Anyways, guys, we are about to jump into another break. Brendan M's favorite part of the show. We're going to jump into another break. We got JC Sherbert upcoming on the other side. We got JC Sherbert upcoming on the other side. Really excited to talk with JC. Everything from today's game. We'll talk some football as well. You guys know the banter will be rocking, rolling. Again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. On the side, JC Sherbert of Inside the Gamecocks of the Big Spur. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. Attention all Gamecock seafood lovers. Are you tired of searching for the freshest seafood in town? Look no further than the Carolina Fish Market, your go-to destination for the finest and most flavorful seafood in the Carolinas and beyond. Introducing the new Carolina Seafood Subscription Box, a culinary delight delivered right to your doorstep. Each month, you'll receive a carefully curated selection of fresh local seafood sourced directly from the waters of the Carolinas and beyond. From succulent shrimp to mouth-watering grouper to flounder or tuna and everything in between, their subscription box brings the ocean's bounty straight to your Gamecock kitchen. What sets the Carolina Fish Market apart is their commitment to quality and sustainability. They work closely with local fishermen and women who use responsible fishing practices, ensuring that every bite you take supports both your taste buds and our precious marine ecosystems. They've even won Best Seafood 5 out of the last 8 years. But that's not all. They're offering free shipping to all TSUS listeners on every Carolina Seafood subscription box, making it even easier for you to indulge in the flavors of the coast. Experience the convenience and joy of having fresh seafood delivered right to your door without any of the hassle. Don't miss on this incredible opportunity to elevate your culinary adventures with the Carolina Fish Market's Carolina Seafood subscription box. Join the seafood enthusiasts across the nation who are savoring the taste of the Carolinas, one delectable bite at a time, and just in time for Father's Day. Visit their website today at carolinafishmarket.com. That's carolinafishmarket.com, and embark on a seafood journey like no other. Freshness, flavor, and convenience await you. Order your Carolina Seafood subscription box now and use the promo code SPURSUP, that's SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. Again, that's promo code SPURSUP, SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. The Carolina Fish Market, where taste meets the ocean.
Muscle Dougie, ho.
All right, guys, we're back. Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. We just got the update, by the way, SEC tournament. Texas A&M now up on Tennessee 2-0. So the Volunteers are struggling. And, of course, I mean, hell, that's a huge game for them because they are fighting for their hosting lives for the postseason. Tennessee, Texas A&M going on right now over on SEC Network. Also, guys, by the way, this time of year, it really makes me think, makes me reflect. Last year we were kind of trying to get the SEC Unfiltered stuff off the ground. I was talking SEC tournament with SEC Unfiltered and all that, doing separate shows and everything. So crazy times, crazy times. I get a lot of questions about SEC Unfiltered, what the future is, what have you. I've talked about it on here before, so I won't bore you with the details, but yeah, that was a good time. Had a lot of fun doing that. The SEC tournament, man, is always a blast. If you love college baseball, I mean, this is a really, really fun week, conference tournament week, because there is baseball on all day long. Guys, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get him on, and we appreciate him again being flexible with his time. But each and every single Tuesday, he joins us. JC Sherbert of Inside the Gamecocks of the Big Spur. JC, what's going on, my man? So happy we were able to do this again. Thank you for being flexible. And happy Victory Tuesday, my friend. What's going on?
Hey, yeah, it's strange to be sitting here and doing a same day post-mortem on a game, right? We were going to do a show today during the game, but Phil, our producer, his daughter got sick, so he had to go get her from school, so we had to bag it. But JB and I had like running commentary over the text message, and very nice win today. The Gamecocks went out and got some hits, strung some hits together early, did what they had to do, and that's the James Hicks. I don't know. I guess I was bragging about at the beginning of the year that seemed to, find the strike zone and be able to pitch multiple shutout innings and all that good stuff. He was really in command today until the end. Went longer than I think I expected, and then Kate Austin came in and did a great job too, and he's not been all that great this year, to be honest. Cade needed that outing as well. First shutout in the history of playing in Hoover, which to me is kind of amazing considering, Chris, the pitchers the Gamecocks have had through the years and the size of that ballpark. I mean, that's a ballpark that's kind of set up for pitching. And the Gamecocks, I think it was set up well for Hicks today. Georgia could really not get a whole lot going. Carolina played really good defense. I thought Braswell was really good at short today. And really just some timing hits. I mean, timing hits. I mean, Will Tippett, I think it's safe to say the future's bright with him because he keeps getting better and better at the plate after struggling earlier, and we know he can play some defense. So big day for him, going 3 for 4 and having a bases clearing double there to kind of salt it away. So always nice to beat Georgia if you're the Gamecocks in any sport. Beating them 9-0 and sort of getting back on the positive side of possibly hosting certainly is good. So it's on to LSU now, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and JC, you effectively end Georgia's season, and that was the first win for the Yardcocks in Hoover since 2018. I mean, it's been quite a while since Carolina baseball's even had a cup of coffee in Hoover, much less any sort of stay. But that is the case. Again, I know you just gave basically your thoughts there. I thought it was interesting. Will Tippett, you mentioned the bottom of the lineup. Get this, JC. The combination, the trio, the bottom third of your lineup, Will Tippett, Dylan Brewer, Evan Stone, 6 hits, 5 RBI in this ball game. And it's going to be a huge boost for Carolina moving forward. I talked about this a little bit earlier before you came on that, I think you feel confident that guys like Cole Messina, Ethan Petrie, Gavin Cassis, Braylon Wimmer, like your big bats, they're going to be there. But if you can start to get that type of production from the bottom of the lineup, I mean, we've seen it, JC, all great championship teams. And if you're going to make a run this time of year, right, everybody just thinks about like 2010 and 11 about Jackie Bradley Jr. and Christian Walker. But you know whose names they don't hear? Kyle Linders, Brady Thomas, like guys at the bottom that you didn't talk about a lot. And when they got their opportunity, they shined. And I think for the Gamecocks, like if you can start getting some, start seeing some heroics from some unlikely names, unlikely faces, maybe Carolina can get off the schneid, put some things together, make a run in Hoover, and carry that over into maybe a postseason run.
Absolutely. And it's really, Chris, what, during the successful part of this season, it's what made this team pretty dangerous. It seemed like there was a guy that would step up every other night, a kind of an unsung hero, if you will, throughout the course of that 34-6, 36-8, however you want to put it, start. And then it just wasn't happening. Everybody kind of went cold at the same time. The pitching kind of went in the tank. There were injuries. The Cole Messina injury behind the plate still was big, I think. Not that he was necessarily hurt, but you had to move him out to third because of Lee Croy being hurt and the infield being banged up. But he's back now. He's kind of the heart and soul, I think, of that pitching staff, even though he's a catcher, because I think he sets the tone and he calls a really good game, Chris. I think the pitchers have a very much a different approach when he's behind the plate. And I think we've seen that. I think the pitching's been okay. Okay to really good, since he returned for the Arkansas series back there at catcher. But it's about winning right now. And, in the postseason, you can't just rely on half your lineup. You do have to have that whole lineup. And certainly there's some capable guys down there on that end of the lineup. It just hasn't always been there this year. Like I said, I think Tippett just keeps getting better and better and better. And then Brewer hopefully can continue to come along. And, Evan Stone, I think you're going to get, what you normally get out of him. But him coming through in clutch situations is important. Like today, kind of set the tone with the 2 RBI single to break things open early. So, overall, that's the kind of team that you hope to see in the postseason. And certainly, like I said, it's all about winning. Even if it had been 1-0 today or 5-4 today, you still celebrate it. And, they get you one closer to 40. Which I think is kind of a magic number to help this team feel sort of safe about getting back in the hosting conversation.
And JC, I've talked a lot about, over the last couple of weeks that this team, and it's an intangible, but just needed something good to happen, right? And you see it across all sports, right? That you just feel like the baseball gods or the football gods or momentum is just against you. Like bad things are happening, right? Like to win championships, to be an elite, like you need some good breaks every now and then to find their way to you. And so that, that goes beyond, just hit a home run or get a strikeout. Like, let's see, like, it feels like things are working for us. And I know that can be frustrating because, again, that's not really a tangible thing. But I thought, JC, you saw a glimpse of that today when Michael Braswell pokes the single to the left side and Dylan Brewer gets sent home. And I thought he was hosed, man. I mean, I thought he was hosed.
Done.
Somehow he gets in there and he's called safe. And at that moment, JC, I'm like, that feels like a break we have not gotten over the last 4 weeks. Like, we just have not gotten that break. I thought that was a huge moment in the game. And also, you mentioned Cade Austin. I tell you, I think his performance definitely needs to be recognized because that moment when he came in, 2 outs in that ball game, bases loaded. I mean, it's only 5-0, JC. A base knock there makes it 5-2, 5-3. You get that sick feeling in your stomach. Oh, my God, here we go again. Where is Cade Austin mentally? Where is Georgia at in regards to momentum? Instead, he gets the strikeout. Some really, really big moments in that ball game today.
Yeah, you mentioned that Brewer play. It was big. And you hate to say lucky.
Hey, if it was flip side, I'd have been calling for the out. So, I mean,
I don't know what the Georgia catcher was doing, though, because, Brewer stuck his left leg. It's like, here, tag my left leg, please. And he didn't. And so the left leg goes, and then his right knee just kind of slides up, and you're like, well, tag him. If you look at the replay, it's like, tag him. And then it was almost a tie when he finally applied the tag to the body, and the right knee. I mean, I don't know if I'd have called him safe at the moment, and I don't know that would have gotten overturned had they called him out and had they reviewed it, but it was close enough to where, the call stood, and that was something good. And you mentioned something good happened. I think on the mound, Carolina's had some good things happening the last few weeks during the weekend. But if you really think about like the 2 games they've won against Tennessee and Arkansas, they've really had one big inning in both those games. So you're talking about 18 innings, 16 innings of those. It was still same old struggles at the plate. What I like about today is they were able to get multiple big innings. Like out in Fayetteville, there was a 1-3 run inning, and they held on to win 3-1 thanks to Mahoney. And then Mahoney was locked in a pitcher's battle, and the Gamecocks go in game 1 against Tennessee on Saturday. And they put 5 on the board with 6 straight hits, and it was a 7-inning game, so the game was essentially over after that. But other than that, I said 16 out of 18. I probably should have said 14 out of 16 since there was, or 14 out of 6, since there was a 7-inning game in there. But other than that, Carolina's been pretty quiet at the plate. And so hopefully stringing those various big innings together, hopefully having different guys come through at different points in the game, hopefully the resiliency of bringing in a reliever with the bases loaded and you get the big K there. That gives these guys, because a lot of it is mental, a lot of it is confidence. So confidence heading into a game against LSU tomorrow, and then you're guaranteed two more. So even if you lose to LSU tomorrow, you got another one coming up. So you basically got two shots now to get to 40 wins. But certainly it would be really nice if you're the Gamecocks if one of those is against the Tigers tomorrow in the opener.
Beat LSU and you move into the winner's bracket and get some afternoon baseball instead of this morning baseball. Although I had a lot of fun today, waking up and baseball's on the tube and waking up and getting after it. But I know you guys have John Whittle on the beat on site. I know the game just ended. Have you talked to him at all, and has he given you any intel into who they may hand the baseball over to tomorrow to start the game?
Not that now. I'll be honest. I did not. I've been out kind of trying to work in the yard a little bit, so I have not checked the site since the game ended. So I don't know if the information's up there, but I have not. I talked to Whittle briefly after the game, just talking about Will Tippett because, believe it or not, Whittle's been saying for a while, even when Tippett was hitting 130, the guy's not that bad of a batter, and all of a sudden he hits the home run against Auburn. And we're all like, where'd that come from? And he's had a couple of more home runs, a couple of more good hits. Even when he was injured, and playing with like one arm, he smacks a single into left field with one arm. So just kind of talking about him, but I have not gotten any word on that yet. One thing I do know is it probably will not be Will Sanders. I think they're definitely saving him for the NCAA tournament, but who knows? Do you bring Eli Jones back on short rest? Because if you bring him back and you start him and he can go 4 or 5 innings, you still can rest him up for a potential regional either, 7, 8 days later. I think that's an option. Do you go with somebody like a Sam Simpson? Do you go Johnny Holstaff? I don't really know the answer right there, but there are some options, especially with game 2. Now, I think once we get to game 3, game 4, it's going to start getting interesting. But I do think that, tomorrow there are some options there. And getting Hicks, Chris, to go that long is huge. I mean, I think they probably were expecting 4 or 5 innings out of him. But he goes longer than he has all year, as a starter this year. And I think he showed, sort of when you look ahead, what kind of potential he maybe has as a starting pitcher and stuff. So, really big in any tournament. The more innings you can eat in baseball, I think the better. And so certainly today was a big start as far as setting your pitching for the rest of this thing, no matter how long it is.
JC, we were talking about this earlier, and I know there's unfortunately nothing we can do about it. But man, tomorrow sure would be a great day to have a guy like Eli Jersen back available. But unfortunately, that is not a reality. And by the way, just to give you some names when you talk about, who are the candidates? I mean, I think of guys that maybe haven't gotten a start this year, but you got guys like Wesley Sweat, Austin Williamson, Brett Thomas, Nick Proctor. Could Chris Veach start? Connor McCreary, Sam Simpson, Jackson Phipps. I mean, you never know. But, I mean, we know, JC, you and I know, that you need unlikely heroes like that to step up. I mean, Zach Zadalis – you need unlikely heroes. And I was just looking at Eli Jones last Friday, so just a couple of days ago. He only went 4 innings, but he threw 84 pitches. So I would be pretty darn surprised. Maybe Thursday he goes, but I'd be pretty darn surprised if you saw him start that game tomorrow. I mean, I look at a guy like a Nick Proctor. He's pitched really, really well of late. Maybe they give him a shot. And like I said, go Johnny Holstaff, like you mentioned. I'll say this, though, on that note. I feel like, JC, this is the matchup that it almost felt like destiny. We were meant to get this one after earlier in the season. These two teams face off, and the Gamecocks just pound LSU in game 1. They come back, and, Carolina, should have won the series in game 2. But, of course, like you mentioned, Cade Austin been up and down this year. That was the game they hit the grand slam. They win that game late. In game 3, we don't get it because of the silly SEC rule that you have 3 days to play 3 games. Now we're getting that game. Carolina, LSU. How excited are you to watch these two teams face off? But it's going to be different, obviously, because we're not getting Paul Skeens, Will Sanders. We're not getting that matchup. It's going to be really interesting to see who both sides go with in the bump. But I got to think, man, this is a really fun matchup. It feels like this one's got a little bit of extra juice to it, if you will.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was 1-1. That was a huge series back then. LSU was ranked number 1 in the country, and the Gamecocks really got to Skeens and really outplayed LSU for, the first 16 innings of that series. Pretty big. I mean, it was 7-3. That's the only game South Carolina's bullpen has really blown this year with a lead. I think there's something like 29-1 when leading after 6 innings, something like that. I think that's the stat they've been saying on TV that Whittle said. And so it was shocking. It was kind of shocking. I remember sitting here, Chris, and I was kind of out on the porch, had the speaker up, listening to it and watching it on my iPad in my backyard retreat. Nice weather, right? Just thinking, hey, I told my fiance, hey, they're rolling. They're going to win this series. And then all of a sudden, it went from 7-3 to 8-7 and done quickly. And that's LSU, man. They got a lot of great players, and that thing could turn on you against them. But then the fact they didn't get in that third game, it sort of left a little bad taste in your mouth because Carolina was hot at the time. And, if you look at the resume, you win this one tomorrow, you kind of de facto win the series. You go to 2-1 against those guys this year. And that counts. That matters. That'll matter with the resume with the NCAA tournament. It'll get you, if you win, it'll get you to 40, which I think is kind of a magic number around here. Mark Kingston's never won 40 games in his career as a coach. So, you win that one. I think you're looking pretty good no matter what happens for the rest of the tournament. And I mean, who knows what'll happen? The SEC tournament's a weird deal. I've seen teams go through and win it and then struggle in the regionals. But, the one year Carolina did win the SEC tournament was 2004. I think they're sitting there down to their last strike, and Steven Tollison hit a home run, and the Gamecocks beat Ole Miss in the first round. They went on to win the whole thing, beat Vanderbilt in the championship game, took the trophy home, and then ended up in the college World Series. I think that was the third straight trip for a Tanner team during the Sarge Fry Field era. And I think the game was finished like third in the country that year. Fullerton State won it, and Texas, I think, was second. And then the Gamecocks got bounced by Fullerton. But, that was a really good baseball team that year in 2004, the last time they did win it. And, Tennessee won it last year. People can argue maybe they ran out of gas when they finally played Notre Dame in the Supers. But who knows? Once if you get past tomorrow, once you get to going, maybe win a couple of more, and who knows, you may end up playing this thing all the way through. And the more you can win, the more I think you're a safer seed in that next 8 when the tournament committee announces everything coming here on. I guess it is Sunday when they announce the host. Then Monday they announce the pairing. So should be interesting right now. I think if you win tomorrow, in a lot of ways, I don't want to say you're playing with house money because you just never know. But it kind of depends on everybody else too. But I think you feel awfully good if you can steal one tomorrow from LSU. That resume all of a sudden, I mean, man, 18 conference wins. I mean, that's sort of a big one as far as all that goes tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you think about this tournament, JC, and of course, this one today was the must win because it was literally single elimination, win or go home. I think looking ahead, I think tomorrow is the big one where if you can win that one, and like you mentioned, you kind of feel like, I mean, you're so ahead of it, right? Because you're in the winner's bracket, it's double elimination. And then I think beginning on Thursday, I think moving up the rotation 2 days, like going Eli Jones tomorrow, Jack Mahoney on third, like I think that's overly aggressive. But if you can just bump them up 1 day, and I think you mentioned this, you can almost spin it as, hey, well, now they get extra rest for the regionals also. Like you're going to be in a really, really good position. So if you can steal that one tomorrow, and winning on Wednesday is a really, really big deal because you're able then, I think, to get back into your weekend rotation, at least, some sort of normalcy. And you feel really good at that point once you get to to that level. JC, I want to move off of baseball into football because I've been getting a lot of comments. Hey, did you hear what JC said about the running back, JC? So people have been hitting me up saying that I think on yesterday's show you said that Dakereon Joyner is making the move full-time from receiver to he is going to be a full-time primarily running back. Is this breaking news? Is this something, are people just saying something in the comments that didn't happen? I guess I'll let you take the floor in regards to the status of Dakereon Joyner and his role in the team this year.
Yeah, I think the confusion comes because Beamer made the comment that, oh, he's still going to play some Wildcat quarterback and receiver, and that's true. But no, he's been working with the running backs all spring. He's been in that room. I think he's probably, if you ask me to say who the starting running back will be right now, it's probably Dakereon Joyner. Yeah, don't count him out. That's all I got to say about that guy, because every time somebody does, he ends up proving them wrong. I mean, how many times have we heard Joyner's going to transfer? Joyner, oh my God, Joyner's starting the bowl game at quarterback. Oh, they're doomed. Or, oh man, Helinski's hurt at halftime in Athens in 2019. And oh, that's only the biggest win of the Will Muschamp era. Joyner very conservatively playing quarterback in the second half, but hey, he didn't throw a pick. He completed a pass for a big first down right out of there for another. That was the type of game the Gamecocks needed that clock to run because they, didn't have a lot of firepower with Helinski out there. The game plan's kind of in the tank at that point. You're not going to line up and run it all over Georgia's defense. And, South Carolina's defense kept getting turnovers, gave up 500 plus yards that day, but it was just kind of like a run clock run thing. And if you have a quarterback that makes mistakes and is not sound and that kind of, craps the bed or whatever out there, you're going to eventually do something dumb and lose. But they didn't do it that day. So that's, two of the bigger wins the last few years Dakereon's had a part in, if you notice against Tennessee and Clemson and Notre Dame down the stretch, he became more and more a part of the game plan with his package. I thought in the spring game, there's some things I think he needs to clean up as far as being a pure running back. A lot of times, quarterbacks like to bump it to the outside because it's you're kind of naturally going that way, trying to get to the edge. We remember Connor Shaw. He dropped back. Oh, nobody's open. Boom, let's hit the edge and get the first down. Running back, sometimes it's best to not bounce it to the perimeter, to go back up inside. Dakereon did that a couple of times. Then a couple of times you kind of like to have seen him not try to get out, bounce it out. Because I think he's a guy that if his vision's working, he can kind of weave his way in and find the holes. Holes are going to have to be there, obviously. But just like I said today, and I don't care if Herschel Walker's in the backfield, this line has to block. I mean, it's not, very few could just make their own yardage these days in college football. But, so yeah, and is it the most ideal situation in the world? No, probably what you'd like is for, Mario Anderson to be ready to go start, and then you can still use Dakereon in all those different ways and not, get him carries in a variety of manners and use Juju kind of like how you use him. Or ideally you got somebody from the portal that can come in and kind of be the quote unquote workhorse, and you use Dakereon like that. But hey, if Dakereon Joyner is going to be the starting running back this year at Carolina, I wouldn't count him out. I mean, just because, everybody's counted him out now for 5 or 6 years, and he tends to overperform and surprise everybody. I think that's, and he sticks with it. He's stuck with it this whole time. I think that's part of the reason why, I'm personally just not counting him out. I'm not saying that that's the best situation ever on paper, but I'm saying the season's not doomed right now because he could be very well be probably the favorite to be the starting running back right now.
And JC, on that note, Shane Beamer concluding his welcome home tour last night in Florence, South Carolina. And he had this quote, "I'm not as worried about the running back position as maybe the outside narrative is. How are we going to field a team because we don't have a fifth scholarship running back? We'll be fine. Do I wish we had more? Yeah, absolutely. But it's not like we're sitting there and it's Armageddon in our building because we didn't get a transfer running back. We'll be fine." Do you share the same confidence in the running back room as Shane Beamer has? I mean, obviously on these welcome home tours, he's going to show you want to see supreme confidence from your leader, but do you think that means, I mean, is Carolina done when it comes to getting a transfer back or looking in the portal? Or, do you think they just feel confident moving forward with the guys they have? I mean, your thoughts on that comment from Beamer?
Oh, I don't think you're ever done looking in the portal. I think whether or not you find something in there that piques your fancy, is a different story. But as far as the guys in the portal now, yeah, because people, why don't they take this guy? Why don't they take that guy? Because they just don't think any of them are worth a scholarship,
Right.
Especially compared to the guys they have now already on the roster. I think that's part of it. I think part of it is South Carolina on paper is going to be able to really probably throw the ball as well as any team the Gamecocks have had in a while. As if you're talking about weapons at receiver, weapons at tight end, a quarterback, the perimeter. When Dowell Loggins was hired, I had some questions, obviously, but the more I hear about it, the more I'm extremely encouraged. I think whenever you heard things behind the scene on Satterfield, you'd hear some encouraging things, and then you hear some things that make you go, and I haven't heard anything that makes me go, It all makes a lot of sense. I think Dowell Loggins is going to be a big surprise for a lot of people this year, just in terms of his offense and how it looks and how it's executed, most importantly, and how comfortable the kids are with running it, that type of thing. Not a lot of confusion, things like that. And so, look, you can always throw the ball to set up the run. You can always have somebody that steps up out of nowhere and you go, wow, where'd that guy come from? I remember LSU heading into the 2019 season, Clyde Edwards Hilaire. You ever heard of him before that year? No. I was used to LSU having these, and he was big. Now he's not, people were like, well, he's just like Juju McDowell. No, he had about 40 pounds on Juju, same height. But there's ways you can do it in college football if you have a really good passing game, to kind of manufacture a run game, especially in the age of the RPO and, with the talent the Gamecocks will have at receiver, because people are like, well, if you don't have, so let me just hypothetically assess this. So you don't have a stud at running back, but you have 3 or 4 capable guys, right? So it comes down to play calling. I mean, so if they load the box because you have a stud running back, well, that just means your passing game is going to have opportunities. So if you don't have a stud running back, we're just going to sit back and play, zone or whatever. That means you're going to have a favorable run box. And as long as you block, you're going to get yardage. Now where the talent level comes in at running back, Chris, is this. If let's say they're not as good talent-wise as some other, doesn't mean they can't be effective. Doesn't mean they can't average 4 or 5 yards a game. Here's where that matters. So you got a hole, okay? You got a stud back there. He's probably gone, or 50, 60 yards later, you're like, God, I can't stop that guy. Or he's breaking tackles and all that going down the field. If not, it's not that far. He didn't get that far, but he still gets far enough, especially when you've got explosiveness on the perimeter and a tight end and a really good quarterback. So, it's called keeping defenses honest. And there's going to be some, Dowell Loggins is going to have to scheme up some things, to get some runs going. And, unfortunately, they're if they can't block, it doesn't matter who's playing back there, like I said. But, you're probably not going to have, what's a 20-yard run is going to be a 20-yard run. It won't be a 60-yard run because, the guy breaks free and is off to the races. And look, maybe Dontavius Braswell has the speed to get off the races. Maybe we find out that DeCarrion Joyner can do it. Juju McDowell, certainly, if he's in the open field, he's very hard to catch unless he's wide open on that 4th and 1 pass at Clemson. I still think he got in on that play, but so that's kind of the differentiation when you're talking about a high-end talent at running back versus serviceable talent at running back. You can't get in a situation like you did the second half against Notre Dame where you just can't run the ball and you become very, very one-dimensional. Then that's what makes you easy to stop. I mean, as long as you're kind of mixing it up and scratching it out, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
JC, you mentioned the blocking, so I'll ask you this. As of right now, what would you say is the greater concern for you going into the season, offensive line or the running back position?
Offensive line by a mile. And I'll tell you why. That spot as a whole, injuries have kind of reared their ugly head again. And it's weird to talk about because, I think a lot of times nowadays, because of the internet and because of the great job we all do with content and keeping people up to date 24 hours, you're inundated with it. So you're always kind of living in the moment with recruiting on through the team and current person. Well, South Carolina's recruiting at like a top 10 level on the offensive line right now. You look at the class they signed for the 2023 class, best in school history on paper, and the 2024 is going to be even better. I don't think I've ever seen the Gamecocks sign offensive line classes like that back to back. Well, here's the problem. Offensive line takes 2 or 3 years. So you're almost like buying a reservation for 2026 to be good on the offensive line when you recruit like that in 2023. So it's not at the front of our mind. Everybody's like, oh, okay, you got some guys back, and then you got all this talent coming in. You'll be fine. Well, that's just a tough position to depend on freshmen. There are very few Travell Whartons out there, even out of the junior college ranks. Very few Dennis Dailies who can step in and start right away. Very few guys like, frankly, Dylan Wanham when he was started as a true freshman. Nobody bothered. Just left him alone until he got injured and stuff. So that's hard. It's hard to do. So if you're counting on freshmen, you're kind of in a pickle. Well, the Gamecocks had, I thought, a nice situation at tackle because they brought in Sidney Fugars. Sidney's a 3-year guy, so he's got 2 more years after this one. Wasn't really a ready-made starter out of the portal that you go get, but could. I thought that was a nice, kind of insurance policy there. You had Case and Henry coming back. You got Jalen Nichols coming back. Ja'Kai Moore can always slide out in a pinch. Well, then all of a sudden, Jalen Nichols gets hurt. Fugar's probably not quite ready to go start. Henry's had knee issues this offseason. He's kind of a question mark. And so what do? You kind of got Marquis Anderson thrown out there. I expect Chris Him to remain at left tackle this season. Long term, is he probably a guard? Yeah. Trevon Ball will probably have to step in and play a little on the interior. So maybe a guy like Rashawn Lee could slide out in a pinch. Remember Rashawn, his very first game as a true freshman, played right tackle against Tennessee in 2020. So that position, they have a lot of snaps coming back, a lot of experienced guys. Tyshawn Wanamaker's leaned up. Has he leaned up too much? That's the question. I think it's a legit question right now. So at tackle specifically, you sort of worry. And I think the good news is you have a lot of guys that play a lot of ball, and there are a lot of really, really good kids up there that work hard, that love playing here, that love football, so that are close. So I think they'll be fine, but they all need to play the best they've played, have their best seasons of their careers, and avoid injury, or that could disrupt the whole thing because the defensive lines you face week in and week out, I mean, they're sick. They're really good. Mississippi State, which is a game I think most of us think at home, SEC opener at home. The game, the Pirates not standing over there anymore. They're kind of in a transition. The Gamecocks, it's a game they should be favored at. Well, they're going to bring just a filthy defensive line in here. So if you're not able to block, and people get on the offensive line way too much, a lot of it's a function of opponent. But if you're not at least able to be serviceable, keep Spencer upright, open some holes, play your assignments, don't play confused like happened a whole lot last year. Then it's going to be long no matter who run it, who is back there at running back. So that's the offensive line to me. The further we've gotten toward the summer program, preseason practice, stuff like that, Chris, the more that position in particular has been at the top of my worry list, concern list. And I'm sure that I'll do like I did last year when I wake up 2 weeks before the season, worried about the special teams for like 24 hours, which is beginning to be a fruitless, a pointless exercise. But right now, offensive line's at the forefront of my mind. I think getting the kid from Charlotte's big. I think getting the kid from Mercer in there probably could add depth. Those are two walk-ons, preferred walk-ons through the portal they got that they can add away to this summer and kind of develop, especially a kid from Charlotte. He's a solid offensive tackle, big athletic type. So, we'll see what happens. But that's definitely, for me, concern number one and when we talk about the 2023 season on either side of the ball.
JC, last thing before I get you out of here. We all know how the recruiting calendar works, right? January, February, March, April, May, Beamer. That's typically how the calendar goes. They typically tear up the month of June. I know over this past weekend, Elijah Griffin, the number one prospect for 2025, that cycle, he was on campus. And, obviously things will start to heat up again. What are the next big dominoes that you would expect to fall? Is there anybody in particular, anything you're keeping a really, really close eye on recruiting? And I forget the kid's name right now, but I think you had put a crystal ball in on somebody. I forget who it was. Either way, though, when it comes to the recruiting side of things, I feel like we haven't talked about that lately. What's the latest for South Carolina there?
I a couple of guys coming in for that June 2nd date, which is it's quickly filling up, Chris. It looked like a light weekend, but you got a lot of guys coming in. Parker Livingstone's a big receiver from Lovejoy, Texas, that has good relationship with Dante Reno and Justin Stepp. Will he stay in state? Will he come to South Carolina? He's a guy they really like. I'm not going to put him on commit watch, but I do think he's a guy that you could surprisingly see in the class. Denos White from Concord High School. From Robinson High School in Concord, North Carolina, 6'3.5", 310. He's scheduled to visit this weekend. Almost quietly has been considered a Gamecock lean. I don't know if that's changed or not now that Travian Robertson is the D-line coach rather than Jimmy Lindsey. But you look out for him. Kind of the shoot your shot guys. Big-time athlete Jalua Solomon from Schley County. He's slaying it, right, from Schley County, is coming in. Braylon Russell, big four-star running back from Arkansas, is coming in. Kai Sanders, safety from New Jersey. Those are all guys that, I guess anybody that's filling out a mock class may have one or two of these guys in it, but they're not guys that you expect, they can get 6 of 8 or whatever. So pretty solid weekend to sort of shoot your shot. Now, I'll tell you the one guy to look out for. He's listed as an edge in our database. Carolina likes him as a linebacker. He's from Powell, Tennessee, which is near Knoxville. For some reason, he doesn't like the Vols, doesn't want to stay close up there, but he's got a lot of big offers. Steven Solis, I think or Soles. It's Soles. I think it's Solis from Powell, Tennessee, 6'1.5", 213. He's kind of an assassin on film, very physical player. From up there in Rocky Top. I think the Gamecocks are looking really good for him. So if there's someone on commit watch, that's one guy to sort of keep an eye on. And then, of course, the big weekend, man, is that June 23rd. You got Dylan Stewart, the 5-star guy from D.C. Can South Carolina land another 5-star player, pull another 5-star surprise from our nation's capital? That's important. I mentioned Travian Robertson. One of the big early targets for him is going to be big Don Bosco D tackle Jordan Thomas, 6'5", 296. Gamecocks have some ties there. His grandparents live over in the lower Richland community. He's got a lot of ties to South Carolina. So if you're going to get a big old 4-star New Jersey D tackle that Michigan and everybody else wants, those family ties will make a difference. Jonathan Paylor, who has been a lean to the Gamecocks. Daniel Hill, who's been a lean to the Gamecocks. They're coming in that weekend. Plus just about all the commits I mentioned. Dante Reno, Kelvin Hunter, Wendell Gregory, Cam Pringle. I think you could expect to see Josiah Thompson possibly in that weekend as well. So that weekend of June 23rd, if you love the Gamecocks football program and follow their recruiting closely, that's one to really, really stay glued to the internet that weekend, because that's there's going to be a lot of stuff popping with regards to that. These days, a lot of kids don't necessarily commit on their visit. They wait till a couple days afterwards. But I think by the time that month is out, we will see, I hate to put a solid number on it, Chris, but let's just say a number of welcome home tweets from Shane Beamer. That's just how it goes around here. And then you take that class and, as it is, move on into the season, and they kind of trickle in the rest of the way. And all of a sudden, in December, there you go. You have your class. But this is trending towards another really special group of high school players that Beamer and his staff are recruiting. And, I think everybody should be perfectly thrilled with how it's gone to date. And then I think they'll be very happy, after the month of June, when the Gamecocks are probably sitting on a handful of more blue chip guys.
Things you love to hear, JC. I lied. One last thing. Our guy Brandon comments a question for you. Do you think South Carolina ends up offering Downs from Riverside? And I follow that up with this. How often do you get questions from people about, hey, my high school has this guy, are they going to offer him? Like, because I feel like everybody wants Carolina or whatever school it is to offer the dude at their high school, and it doesn't necessarily work that way. But Downs from Riverside, does that name ring a bell? And do you think Carolina would offer?
Marcus Downs, he's a guy that they want in camp. He's got some pretty solid out of state. I mean, really good out of state offers, Georgia, and some other teams. Lindsey kind of wanted to wait on camp and see. I don't know what Travian Robertson's opinion is on that, but I think the staff collectively has decided, like, bring him to camp. Let's work him out. Let's just make sure. And that happens a lot with in-state guys. I mean, they either are guys like this with out-of-state offers, and look, a lot of the out-of-state offers are not committable. I mean, he's got offers from these schools, but here, get on the phone, call up Kirby, see if he takes the call. If Kirby takes the call, it's legit. If you get Kirby's voicemail, or if it's his secretary that picks up because it's not really his number, then it's not. But and I don't know. Georgia may. I have not talked to anyone at Georgia about him specifically. But you got to be careful in state. You don't want to offer a guy and then not be happy with him or have to pull the offer or something. And you want to be able to take a commitment from him when you do offer. And so that's the situation there. So I probably, something tells me with Downs that the hype is real. I like him, probably just in my dumb brain, but I'd sign 15 defensive linemen if you ask me to, every year, and all, mostly from the Carolinas. But I think they should offer him, but they'd have to get out and see him, because he's listed at 6'3", 265. Well, Chris, what if he gets there and he's 6'1.5" or 251 or something? Or what if he gets there and he's that tall and big, but he doesn't move around like he does on. There's all these things you got to kind of check off to be sure. So to answer your question, I think they will, but it's probably going to come down to the workout and all that good stuff.
JC Sherbert, inside the Gamecocks of the Big Spur. JC, will you guys return tomorrow for your show, or is that TBD?
I think it kind of depends on Phil's little one and if she's better or not, because Phil's wife's and Phil handles all the technical end of it, right? So Jamie and I would probably Jamie'd have to get trained up real quick to do it, because I would have no idea. But since it's during the game anyway, it's like, well, most people are going to be watching the game. We debated on bagging it today to begin with, just because why do they care what we have to say, about it? I mean, you got Derek and Tommy you can listen to. You can listen to SEC Network guys. You can. If you're like some people, you could just put on classical music and sip a glass of wine while you're listening to that game, because it's so nerve-wracking sometimes. But why would they care what we have to say? But I think we'll be back, kind of the same plan. But it kind of depends on the health of Phil's little one, and if she's not 100%, then it'll probably be no show again. But hopefully we'll be back.
Definitely. We'll stay tuned to social media to find out. And again, JC of Inside the Gamecocks, the Big Spur. Always a pleasure, my friend. Looking forward to doing it again next week. Take care, my guy.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Be good, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Great stuff, guys, from JC Sherbert. Another riveting conversation. We are going to jump into another break. And on the other side, we begin our Q&A Power Hour, guys. We're going to go till 4:30. Cannot wait to hear from you. Your questions, your comments, your calls on the other side of the break. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. Attention all Gamecocks seafood lovers. Are you tired of searching for the freshest seafood in town? Look no further than the Carolina Fish Market, your go-to destination for the finest and most flavorful seafood in the Carolinas and beyond. Introducing the new Carolina Seafood Subscription Box, a culinary delight delivered right to your doorstep. Each month, you'll receive a carefully curated selection of fresh local seafood sourced directly from the waters of the Carolinas and beyond. From succulent shrimp to mouth-watering grouper to flounder or tuna and everything in between, their subscription box brings the ocean's bounty straight to your Gamecock kitchen. What sets the Carolina Fish Market apart is their commitment to quality and sustainability. They work closely with local fishermen and women who use responsible fishing practices, ensuring that every bite you take supports both your taste buds and our precious marine ecosystems. They've even won Best Seafood 5 out of the last 8 years. But that's not all. They're offering free shipping to all TSUS listeners on every Carolina Seafood subscription box, making it even easier for you to indulge in the flavors of the coast. Experience the convenience and joy of having fresh seafood delivered right to your door without any of the hassle. Don't miss on this incredible opportunity to elevate your culinary adventures with the Carolina Fish Market's Carolina Seafood Subscription Box. Join the seafood enthusiasts across the nation who are savoring the taste of the Carolinas, one delectable bite at a time, and just in time for Father's Day. Visit their website today at carolinafishmarket.com. That's carolinafishmarket.com, and embark on a seafood journey like no other. Freshness, flavor, and convenience await you. Order your Carolina Seafood subscription box now and use the promo code SPURSUP, that's SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. Again, that's promo code SPURSUP, SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. The Carolina Fish Market, where taste meets the ocean.
Muscle Dougie, ho.
All right, guys, we're back taking your questions, your comments, and your calls as we begin our Power Hour. 843-790-3377. The phone lines are officially open here on this Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Again, guys, appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you all so much for your continued love and support as we get rocking and rolling here on this Tuesday. Appreciate JC Sherbert taking the time. A great conversation with JC. Really, really good stuff, really enlightening stuff there as well. And again, we'll get back into your questions, your comments. If you cannot call in, just leave your comments in the YouTube chat, and we'll jump into those as well. Looks like it is 3-0. Texas A&M is up on Tennessee in the second game of the SEC tournament. So, let's see. It looks like they just posted a highlight too. Yeah, I think that just put them up. Okay, this home run put them up 3-0. 3-0. Texas A&M is up on the Vols. Let's jump back into your questions. Lynn Turner says, our first natty required Michael Roth to come out of nowhere. We need somebody to fill that role to go deep in Hoover. For sure, Lynn, you've always got to have guys step up like that. You have to have guys step up. You know, any great run, any great championship team, I mean, at some point, you're going to ask something of a player that is more than he has done to that point in the season. And the question becomes, does he step up and rise to the occasion, or is it too much? And the guys that step up and they rise to the occasion, their teams are generally the ones that go on and do big things and win championships. I mean, you saw that last year with Ole Miss, and you see that every single year. There's always some hero that emerges. So we'll see. Maybe that guy tomorrow can step up for the Gamecocks. Jeff Gullidge says, speaking on DeKevrion Joyner, I'd love for him to be RB1 against UNC and rush for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I hear you. Lynn Turner says DK5 has been answered every call we needed him. He is the definition of a Gamecock. And the question from Lynn, I'm good with DK5 being RB1 to start the season. We don't want to take somebody just to take a warm body. Ruben Nation says Lenoris Sellers is going to tear up the league behind that offensive line in 2024. Yeah, very interesting comments from JC regarding the offensive line. And I don't disagree with him. I think the offensive line is definitely a big question. A lot of new faces. And, obviously losing Jalen Nichols for, I think, basically the year is a really, really tough blow to this offensive line. But, interesting comments from JC for sure regarding that. Let's see. Travie, once again, to the baseball team. All 3 phases played well today. Keep it up. Pitching, defense, and hitting. Frank says, I think at this point we have to go with what we have at running back. We've got other offensive options. Focus on stopping the run, and we'll be okay. Madison says, JC cutting grass. I hear you. Yeah, you want to talk about running the ball, stopping the run. Travie is your guy. That man loves to talk about running the ball, stopping the run. Again, guys, we are waiting on no idea who's going to get the start tomorrow. We've heard nothing. We've heard nothing from South Carolina. So we'll let you guys know when we hear something, but nothing from the Gamecocks, and I don't think LSU has said anything either. So on who they're starting. I don't think they've put out anything on who they're starting. So we'll see. We'll see. Busy, busy day of baseball. Again, you got A&M and Tennessee right now. After that, Kentucky and Alabama. 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Those 2 teams are set to play again. I think the biggest upset at this point is that there hasn't been a rain delay. After the forecast we saw this morning, really surprised that there has not been a delay at any point in today's action. So anyways, guys, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Would love to hear from you. You can text that number, call that number. Let's see. We did have a text here. Said I was pretty damn close, Chris. Yeah, you picked 9-2. Final score was 9-0. I asked, let's see. I was asked earlier today, will we smoke in the dog pack? I'm going to save all the packs, all the cigars for when Carolina wins the whole damn thing. How about that? At least that's what we're hoping for. Let's see. I'm just trying to stay on top of it, see if anything's been announced. I don't think anything has. Nothing's been announced in regards to who will get the start. By the way, the win today, guys, career win number 450 for Mark Kingston. Apparently Kingston said earlier he's not sure they're ready to use any of their weekend starters yet tomorrow. So he and Justin Parker, the pitching coach, will have to think outside of the box as they go over possible starters. So, yeah, I don't think you're going to see them rush back Jack Mahoney or rush back anybody like that for the game tomorrow. I think Thursday, different story. And that's, dude, tomorrow's game. I mean, this is kind of a no-duh thing, right? Because you want to advance through the winner's bracket, if you will. But I tell you, man, if you can pull the upset tomorrow and put yourself in a situation where you can bring, you can bump Jack Mahoney and you can bump Eli Jones and Matthew Becker up a day, right? You can go with Jones or Mahoney on Thursday. You're going to be in a great position. I mean, you're going to be in a fantastic position. And I mean, that's where everybody wants to be, right? I mean, can you imagine LSU if they win tomorrow and they got Paul Steens ready to go? And I mean, they're just going to be really, really tough to beat. So huge one tomorrow. Going to be a lot of fun again, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. Going to be a blast for sure. David Barnes says, who gets more snaps at quarterback this year? DeCamerion Joyner or Lenoris Sellers? Now, this is a good question, David. This is a good question. Who gets more snaps? Thank you for the question, David Barnes. Who gets more snaps at quarterback this year? DeCamerion Joyner or Lenoris Sellers? A fantastic question. And I think one that you can seriously debate. Because we just heard from J.C. Sherbert, DeCamerion Joyner is going to be working at primarily running back, right? That's a real thing. He is going to be very, very strong potential. He is RB1 to start this season. But you got to think there's still going to be some wildcat in there. You still got to think there's going to be a wrinkle with DeCamerion Joyner at the quarterback position. We've also heard, though, that Lenoris Sellers could be a guy that could help this team at quarterback. 3rd and short, 4th and short. With his big body, if you will, he could be a guy that is used in sort of a Tim Tebow back in 2007 when he was a true freshman, that type of situation. So it is a very good question. And I'll say this, I'll go to DeCamerion Joyner right now because of his experience, and I think you'll just see him used in different ways. And, I don't think they're going to force the issue with the youngster Lenoris Sellers, but I think it'll be close because I do think Lenoris Sellers will be used this season. So give me DeCamerion Joyner, but just by a slight margin, and a great question there that I think will cause a lot of debate going in the 2023 season. Great stuff, David Barnes, for sure. See, this is one of the reasons. I love TDC for many reasons, but stuff like that, that's a question I would not think of. And David Barnes, you bring that up, and there you go. How about this? Justin Martin says, Chris, go Gamecocks. Chris, can you dance? I mean, I don't know that I'd pride myself on an elite dancer. I mean, I think I can cut a rug here and there, but I mean, I think I can cut a rug here and there, but I would not tout myself as an elite dancer. I'll just leave it at that. Anyways, so let's see. Again, guys, 3-0. A&M up on Tennessee. Wow, how about this? East Carolina had a guy ejected from the first round AAC tournament game against South Florida for giving Jacob Starling a hot dog on the field after his first inning home run. That's a hell of a headline right now. Let's jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Robbie Davis, Zaxby's Hall of Famer.
Robbie, what's going on, my friend? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a little cloudy over here in Monk's Corner, but I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Anytime you get to do TDC after a win, it's a good thing. So I'm doing
They're a lot more fun to do after you win.
Yeah, no, I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate you asking. What's going on?
First things first, congrats to the baseball team by winning in convincing fashion, as you put it earlier on in the show today. My question is this. I think we can build off of it, but when we're not really quite healthy yet. So I'm kind of concerned if we can build off of this, which I hope we do. Don't get me wrong. I hope we do build off of this 9-0 win that we got today. But with all the pieces that are still questionable, I am definitely concerned about tomorrow morning against LSU.
I think that's fair, man. LSU, one of the best teams in college baseball, and we just need to see it again now. But I mean, that's it's going to be a fun matchup. But I certainly don't think all of our woes are fixed. And again, like I said, LSU is a team where you better have it figured out because they're coming either way. So
yeah, for sure. And I think our pitching staff, our pitching did great today. Obviously, we didn't give up no runs, and that very close play at home plate. By the way, I watched the replay whenever they showed it, and I paid attention very closely. I think they got the call right after seeing it in slow motion.
Yeah, I thought it was right too. No, listen, I thought the tag was late and it was close, and they called safe on the field, so there was definitely not conclusive evidence to overturn that.
Right, and also with the whole quarterback question that popped up a few minutes ago, I would probably put my money on DK playing quarterback more than Sellers, because he has experience at the quarterback position and he's been on the team for feels like forever. And Lenoris Sellers is a true freshman.
Those are all very valid points, Robbie. Those are all very valid points indeed. Yeah. It's going to be interesting, though. I think Lenoris Sellers will be a guy that maybe gets used a little bit more than even I was expecting. So,
right.
But, yeah, you're going to see a lot of Dakarrion Joyner this year, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And my prediction for the baseball game tomorrow morning, if we play, I think we needed a game like this to get off the schneid. And my prediction, 6-4 South Carolina. We're going to shock everybody and beat LSU.
Wow. I love that, Robbie. I love the confidence. I love that.
Hey, like I always say, you still got to play the game. Rankings don't mean squat when it comes down to the postseason. So, I mean, hey, why not, right?
That's a fact. Hey, that's a fact. Dude, I'm
and you don't, and like I always say, you don't win a game on paper. The paper don't mean squat.
Yeah, from your lips to God's ears, my man. From your lips to God's ears, I would love nothing more. I tell you what.
South Carolina. I don't know who's pitching, but whoever's pitching, I hope they pitch a whale of a game for us tomorrow. But 6-4 South Carolina. So that's all I got. Go Gamecocks. And to heck with Clemson. To heck with them.
Robbie, great stuff, my friend. I appreciate you.
You too, buddy. Have a good one.
Yeah, man. Talk soon. Great stuff from Robbie Davis, as always. Guys, we're going to jump into another quick break. On the side, more of your questions, your comments, your calls, and more. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. Attention all Gamecock seafood lovers. Are you tired of searching for the freshest seafood in town? Look no further than the Carolina Fish Market, your go-to destination for the finest and most flavorful seafood in the Carolinas and beyond. Introducing the new Carolina Seafood Subscription Box, a culinary delight delivered right to your doorstep. Each month, you'll receive a carefully curated selection of fresh local seafood sourced directly from the waters of the Carolinas and beyond. From succulent shrimp to mouth-watering grouper to flounder or tuna and everything in between, their subscription box brings the ocean's bounty straight to your Gamecock kitchen. What sets the Carolina Fish Market apart is their commitment to quality and sustainability. They work closely with local fishermen and women who use responsible fishing practices, ensuring that every bite you take supports both your taste buds and our precious marine ecosystems. They've even won Best Seafood 5 out of the last 8 years. But that's not all. They're offering free shipping to all TSUS listeners on every Carolina Seafood subscription box, making it even easier for you to indulge in the flavors of the coast. Experience the convenience and joy of having fresh seafood delivered right to your door without any of the hassle. Don't miss on this incredible opportunity to elevate your culinary adventures with the Carolina Fish Market's Carolina Seafood Subscription Box. Join the seafood enthusiasts across the nation who are savoring the taste of the Carolinas, one delectable bite at a time, and just in time for Father's Day. Visit their website today at carolinafishmarket.com. That's carolinafishmarket.com, and embark on a seafood journey like no other. Freshness, flavor, and convenience await you. Order your Carolina Seafood subscription box now and use the promo code SPURSUP, that's SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. Again, that's promo code SPURSUP, SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. The Carolina Fish Market, where taste meets the ocean.
Muscle Dougie, ho.
All right, guys, we're back. Taking your questions, comments, calls. 843-790-3377. Love to hear from you all. A victory Tuesday as South Carolina takes down Georgia 9-0 in the SEC tournament. Tomorrow is set up to be fun again as the Gamecocks will take on the LSU Tigers. 10:30 a.m. Eastern first pitch. Guys, as you can imagine, we will have the same setup as today. Game will take place at 10:30, assuming it's around a 3-hour game. If it's a little bit shorter, we'll start sooner, but around a 3-hour game, we'll start TDC around 1:30 or 2 o'clock. Just be sure to stay tuned. I'll let you all know, but you can basically expect 30 minutes or so after the conclusion of the ball game. That is when we'll go live on TDC. So again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. Glad we're able to do this even with the games taking place, and truly appreciate you guys rolling with the punches throughout this week because the schedule is going to get kind of crazy as we continue, especially if we continue to advance throughout the SEC tournament. Okay, we are entering a weather delay in Hoover, Alabama. Tennessee baseball just now tweeting it out. Weather delay in the top of the 9th inning. So here is that weather that we saw. So the Gamecocks and LSU could be affected tomorrow if they're not able to, depending on how long the rain sticks around Hoover, that could obviously impact first pitch tomorrow. So there is a weather delay in Hoover, Alabama. We shall see how long it lasts. And again, guys, Gamecocks set right now for 10:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow. If this delay lingers and lingers and lingers and lingers, and you're not able to, for whatever reason, get the final game of the day in, that might be a situation where they start that one in the morning and then Carolina will be bounced back. So again, like I said, it's a crazy SEC tournament week is a crazy, crazy week. And I'm very happy that, it's a crazy week for us because the worst case scenario would have been lose today. And it's like, well, we're not even talking baseball anymore while everybody's having fun in Hoover and doing their thing. We're not even able to enjoy it. So I'm glad that's the case. Yeah, Brandon, rain delay in Hoover. Vols are 3 outs away from being eliminated. Jacob E says A&M will be doing every team a massive favor by knocking out the Vols. Will Hall says, I'll be honest, it's nice to finally have a game that isn't make or break for our season. Indeed, indeed. Jeff Gullidge, I'm not worried about playing LSU. The Gamecocks were sandbagging at the end of the season, just waiting for the postseason. Madison then says, that's a heavy sandbag to carry around. Indeed. Indeed. Let's see. Lynn Turner, maybe our morning game will be delayed to finish the first round. Yeah, I mean, that could very well happen, Lynn. I mean, we've seen that before. That could very, very well happen. Either that, or there's going to be baseball played very, very late tonight. Brandon says, we need the Vols to lose. They won't be in contention to host anymore, hoping Bama will lose as well. Yeah, that would help us certainly. Guys, 843-790-3377. The phone lines are open here on this Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Do not let the Cocks get hot. Do not let the Cocks get hot. Let's see. Wes Rucker tweeted, it seems inevitable that the SEC tournament at some point will move to a major league stadium with a retractable roof, maybe the one in Dallas. It just feels inevitable. Kendall Rogers then said, worth noting that Greg Sankey and a couple of SEC officials visited Globe Life Field in Arlington earlier this season during the College Showdown. Yeah, it's unfortunate for the great people of Hoover, if you will, but God, it rains there every year. I mean, it just rains there every year. And I guess, hey, to expect the location, we need perfect weather for a week. I mean, maybe that's asking a lot, but dude, it's just every single year. These games are getting delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And let's see, pulling up this. Let's see how the weather's looking in Hoover. Let's see. Apparently, people were saying it's like pouring rain. So I'm gonna pull up the weather radar here. I'm just curious. 30 minutes to go, guys. The show, we've hit 4 o'clock, and thank you all so much for, again, rolling with the punches today and being a part of this with us. I know we're obviously on later than normal, but yeah, this is a lot of fun, man. A lot of fun. Really, really good stuff. I'll tell you this, guys. I wished you earlier today a happy preseason magazine season. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I am very excited to go to Publix after this, and I might even get me a pub sub to go with the magazine just to celebrate. You know what I mean? Oh, man. But no, I'm excited to pick up the magazine. I love it. I love preseason magazine season. I love seeing the rankings and everything. It's awesome, dude. It's awesome. So just looking at the weather in Hoover again, it's pouring rain right now. Looks like the rest of the week is actually pretty nice though. So I think the rest of the week there shouldn't be any issues per weather.com. So, but right now, of course, delay taking place. Austin Miller, pub subs are elite. Maybe the best comment of the day right there. Dude, Austin Miller, they really are. I'll tell you this, though. I love pub subs, but I've been to Jersey Mike's a couple of times the last couple of weeks. Dude, Jersey Mike's, that slaps, dude. Jersey Mike's is so good. So good. But a pub sub, it's incredible, man. Love a good pub sub. I could live off pizza and pub subs, guys. I really, you give me a different style of, if I can change up the styles, like the toppings or the type of sub, if I can change that up, I could literally live off pizza and pub subs just for the rest of time. I really could. By the way, guys, 8:30 tonight, 8:30 tonight, 8:30 Eastern. I will join our guy, AYS Sports, a.k.a. Blake Ruffino. I'll join him at 8:30 tonight. They're an LSU show, of course. So we'll be talking South Carolina and LSU. Going to be a lot of fun. Probably jump in there 20, 30 minutes, something like that. Looking forward to it and appreciate the opportunity. My guys over at 11.7, there's some sickos, man. There's some sickos. The infield in Hoover looks very bad. Very, very bad. And they tweeted and said, yes, give us an order of 1 a.m. SEC baseball in Hoover with a side of curly fries, please, and thank you. You know what sucks, too? It's like they got 1 inning to play. They've got 1 inning. They got 1 inning in the delay hits. That's hysterical, man. Texas A&M starter, man. 8 innings pitched, 1 hit. Dude absolutely shoved today. Let's see. Jeff Gullidge says, did you see that Washington State is suspending all for the projects for athletics development like stadium improvements, etc.? I feel like the Pac-12 is about to not exist. I did not see that, Jeff. That's crazy. Is that something to do with the Pac-12? Is it something to do with Washington State? That's wild, though. Yeah. James Kendall says, public sub or bust until you hit 40 and that metabolism dies. Then your ass is eating salad and chicken while the kids eat burgers like the rest of us. All right, James. All right. That fair enough. Well, James, I'm going to enjoy it in the meantime then, my guy. I'm going to enjoy it in the meantime. I am going to enjoy it, my friend. I will say though, it's a lot of fun with the SEC tournament when you got games that are ending at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and you got late night baseball, and it's just, yeah. Rain delay in Hoover. Who could have seen this coming? Who could have seen this coming? Again, guys, 843-790-3377. You're more than welcome to call in today. Your thoughts on the game today, tomorrow, what have you. Also, again, I thought great stuff from JC Sherbert. I appreciate him taking the time. And guys, again, thank you all so much for, and I know what, listen, I don't think y'all get tired of it. I say thank you a lot, man. I believe in expressing gratitude because I tell you, I think one of the biggest reasons people become anxious in life, they become stressed in life, they lose their peace is because they lose their gratitude. I think when you lose your gratitude, you lose your peace. I mean, think about it. If you wake up and you're grateful, thank God I woke up, or I'm grateful for the opportunity to breathe today. I'm grateful that I have 2 legs, 2 working arms, a functioning brain. I'm grateful for all the blessings. I'm grateful to wake up in a comfy bed. I'm grateful to wake up with a roof over my head. I'm grateful I get to do what I do. I don't have to do anything. I get to do all these things. If you approach every situation with gratitude, you can't help but be a happy person. You can't help but make the most out of every situation. So I believe in showing gratitude, guys, as you're very familiar with, and it's why I'm always saying thank you to you all because, I don't think we necessarily, it's not my birthright to do the Spurs Up show. It's not my birthright that, people should be tuning in. They're supposed to tune in. Like the fact that people take time out of their days to tune into the Spurs Up show and tune into all the content, buy the merchandise, do what we do. It's a blessing, man. It's a blessing. And it's something I'm grateful for. And I don't take it for granted that people rock with TSUS, the Big Cock Club Discord, the fact there's people out there that want to show love and support the business side of things. And really, I would say invest in the business, man. It's just something that I'll never stop being grateful for. And I'll never stop expressing that gratitude and saying thanks to each and every single one of y'all, man. So thank you so much again. I appreciate it. And specifically, I wanted to say on the podcast side of things with the way that, again, we've been distributing content. Numbers are up exponentially. Numbers are up exponentially. And it's such a blessing, man. I mean, I knew and felt very confident that the way that we're distributing content was going to be a game changer for us. And that is the case right now. And I cannot wait to see the numbers after a month period, if you will, because that's generally like how we measure our numbers, if you will. But it's the feedback has been incredible. So thank you all so much, man. I truly appreciate it. And you guys mean the world to me, truly. You guys mean the world to me, man. It's awesome. So, guys, I will say this again: if you want to watch the baseball games with us, if you want to watch the games, here's a little spoiler for you. It's not really a spoiler if you've been paying attention. The way that we watched the baseball game today in the Big Cock Club Discord, right? And in case you don't know what I'm talking about, you go to social media. I posted a video of what the Discord setup looks like. We're literally just streaming the game. And we have all of our little profiles up, and there's audio, so we can all chat and conversate and have the game on up as well. We're going to do that during football season, which is going to be electric, by the way. It's going to be electric. So we're going to do that during football season. And as I said, like one of the big things is this, guys, I think the biggest advantage, like if you don't want to pay for cable, let's say you don't have cable, you don't want to stream, you don't want to pay for YouTube TV, bro, you can just join the Big Cock Club. You can watch everything you want to watch. You can tune in, hang out with us. So we'll be doing that same thing tomorrow. So if you want to watch the game live with yours truly, you want to hang out with us in the Discord, man, you can ask anybody who's in the Discord. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun, man. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So jump in today, patreon.com/Big Cock Club. Or you can click the link in bio on our social media. I was like, where did my brain go there? You can click the link in bio on our social media, and you can join that way. And again, we'll be watching the game tomorrow. We'll watch the game on Thursday and everything in between. I'd say basically all the postseason. I don't know exactly what my plans are. If Carolina goes to Omaha, yours truly will be there. We will 110% be in Omaha. But, yeah. So we're going to be watching a lot of baseball, and that's what we're going to do for football as well. And really all games. I think that's a great opportunity for us to watch all the games together and, get live in-game reactions, interactions, all that good stuff. It's a good time. It's a lot of fun. Let's keep it rolling. We'll take a break in 5 minutes. Again, rain delay in Hoover. Tennessee and Texas A&M fighting the weather right now. How does that affect the Gamecocks game tomorrow? It probably shouldn't unless the delay is really, really long. So Let's see. Boston College takes down Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament, 11-7. So, Jacob E. with a random comment. It's a shame how bad the United States is at men's tennis. All right. I didn't know we were bad at men's tennis. Lynn Turner, I think it'd be great for this one inning to delay for hours. Yeah, that'd be something. Okay, I see why you said that. Frank says the U.S. Open tennis tournament began in 1968. No retractable roof was put on until 2016. Big money event. Not sure college conference baseball is going to rate. Well, Frank, I mean, here's the thing. Again, they don't have to build a new stadium for it. They don't have to build a new stadium for Hoover. Just pick a different stadium. I mean, here's the thing. Like, it's not like, I don't think it's like, oh, we're trying to take baseball away from Hoover, Alabama. You know what I mean? Like, but the rain is just absurd, man. It's absurd. So I think there's definitely other options. I don't know. I tell you what I think is kind of cool, and I'm sure some will disagree with me. I think the way softball does it, I think the way that softball does it, where they're at a different SEC stadium every year, I think that would actually be kind of cool. I doubt they would do that, but I don't know, man. I think that would be – I think that'd be a neat thing. So, Madison Duncan, the weather – I don't know if you're talking 4:16 to 4:30. That's 14 minutes. No, we're gonna jump into a break at 4:15. Yeah, we're gonna close up with a 10-minute spot. Madison, you're doing the math. I like it. You're doing the math, Madison. I like it. I like it. Let's see. Again, guys, we wait to see who the Gamecocks will start tomorrow. Who the Gamecocks will start tomorrow. Tarp Taylor. Our guy, AUPPL, Tarp Taylor. Yeah, you knew this weather delay was coming. You knew this weather delay was coming for sure. Yeah, we all knew it was coming. So James says, I like this late show, pairs nicely with my bourbon. James, I'm glad to hear that, my guy. Glad to hear it, my guy. Glad to hear it. Let's see. Frank says, if you build it, they will come. They will come indeed. Guys, I'll tell you this. I mean, I've already said it many times. I'd love to continue to hear your feedback. And I know today's obviously weird because of the game. I've loved the 3-hour TDC. I really have. I mean, TDC before was a lot of fun. And we did that format for practically 2 years. You know what I mean? We started it's crazy to think we started TDC back. And I'd love to hear who was on the first TDC or one of the first TDCs back in, what was it, August, late August, early September of 2020. That's really when it became a thing, a normal, daily thing we were doing. And that was an hour-long show. Then we made the transition to 2 hours, and that was, the way we rocked and operated. And, this show has never had a script. It's never had any sort of organization. But with the 3-hour show and the way we're distributing content, I knew we had to have some sort of organization. I've loved it. I've loved it, to be honest with you, man. I think TDC's always been chaos, good chaos, but now it's just controlled good chaos. And I think that's a beautiful thing. So, guys, we will jump into one final break. On the side, we'll close this show out in style. More of your questions, comments, and calls. You're tuned in to the Daily Crow. Attention all Gamecock seafood lovers. Are you tired of searching for the freshest seafood in town? Look no further than the Carolina Fish Market, your go-to destination for the finest and most flavorful seafood in the Carolinas and beyond. Introducing the new Carolina Seafood Subscription Box, a culinary delight delivered right to your doorstep. Each month, you'll receive a carefully curated selection of fresh local seafood sourced directly from the waters of the Carolinas and beyond. From succulent shrimp to mouth-watering grouper to flounder or tuna and everything in between, their subscription box brings the ocean's bounty straight to your Gamecock kitchen. What sets the Carolina Fish Market apart is their commitment to quality and sustainability. They work closely with local fishermen and women who use responsible fishing practices, ensuring that every bite you take supports both your taste buds and our precious marine ecosystems. They've even won Best Seafood 5 out of the last 8 years. But that's not all. They're offering free shipping to all TSUS listeners on every Carolina seafood subscription box, making it even easier for you to indulge in the flavors of the coast. Experience the convenience and joy of having fresh seafood delivered right to your door without any of the hassle. Don't miss on this incredible opportunity to elevate your culinary adventures with the Carolina Fish Market's Carolina Seafood Subscription Box. Join the seafood enthusiasts across the nation who are savoring the taste of the Carolinas, one delectable bite at a time, and just in time for Father's Day. Visit their website today at carolinafishmarket.com. That's carolinafishmarket.com, and embark on a seafood journey like no other. Freshness, flavor, and convenience await you. Order your Carolina Seafood subscription box now and use the promo code SPURSUP, that's SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. Again, that's promo code SPURSUP, SPURSUP, for $10 off your first purchase. The Carolina Fish Market, where taste meets the ocean.
Muscle Dougie, ho.
All right, guys, we're back. Final 10 minutes or so here in the Daily Crow, taking your questions, your comments, and your calls as well. 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Tuesday, May the 23rd, 2023. Let's see. Again, Tennessee and Texas A&M currently in a weather delay. Shocker. There's a rain delay at the SEC tournament. I don't think any of us are very surprised at that. But, yeah. Anyways, guys. Will be interesting to see how that affects tomorrow's game. Of course, Gamecocks LSU will take place at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. How about this? South Florida entered the ninth down 9-5. 7 singles. And 4 East Carolina pitchers later, South Florida now leads the game. Jeez. 10-9. They're now up on East Carolina. So, crazy. Man, dude, I'm telling you, conference tournament baseball is just unlike anything else. It's just unlike anything else. So, let's see. Robbie Davis, the only caller today. How about that? Only one caller all day long. Kind of surprising. Again, guys, we'll be going on AYS Sports tonight at 8:30 Eastern. They stream live on Twitter and YouTube, talking LSU sports. So we'll be talking Carolina LSU tonight with Blake Ruffino of AYS Sports at 8:30 Eastern. Looking forward to that. Arizona State falls to Arizona 12-3. Guys, I'm just looking at all the conference tournaments, conference tournament stuff. Brewer Nation says regular time tomorrow. Brewer Nation, we play at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, my friend. So tomorrow is going to be very, very similar to how today played out, right? So, I mean, if the game starts at 10:30, Brewer Nation, I would imagine it won't end until, probably 1:30, maybe 1:15. Today's game was actually really quick. So, maybe it'll end at 1. You never know. Will it start at 10:30? We shall see. So, Brewer Nation, it really just depends on what time that game takes place, what time it ends, all that good stuff. I mean, yeah. So, it really just depends. It really just depends on when everything takes place. But no, it will not be the regular noon to 3. No, it will not be. Unless it will not be, though, the regular time, because we will be playing. Will Korb, what's up, my guy? Shout out Myrtle Beach. What's going on? Will Hall. The comments have been much less animated than yesterday. It's very nice. Yeah. It's crazy. The slapdicks, I don't know what bat signal is out there that makes the slapdicks want to tune in. I have no idea. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why they choose certain days. They might tune in every day and only just pick certain days to comment. I have no idea. I don't know what makes the slapdicks come out and play. I don't know. I don't know. I have no clue. Yes, Brewer Nation, after the game, though. And Austin Miller says, I hope tomorrow is like today in the win aspect also. I agree with you. You think today's been fun? Imagine if we're able to get the job done. That'd be a blast. Would be a blast for sure. Again, the SEC tournament currently in a weather delay, but again, however or whatever time the Gamecocks play at tomorrow, that will certainly impact what time we will go live. I think the game should start at 10:30, though. I mean, they'll play late into the night. The only way we wouldn't start at 10:30 is if the last game tonight could not get played and they moved it tomorrow. I don't see that happening. I think they'll start at 11 p.m. tonight before they move that game. And I don't think the weather delay should take all that long. But the rain's not supposed to end until 5:30 Eastern time. So they got another hour of rain, most likely. So what are you looking at? About an hour and a half delay? All right. Yeah. So it's going to be, then you talk about do games get extra innings? Are there any more rain delays? I mean, who knows, man? Who knows? So Ruben Nation says they only do it when they can get the rest of the homeroom class to show up. Will Hall, shout out to North Myrtle Beach. Chief Baseball took the first game of the state championship against Catawba Ridge. Game 2 tomorrow in North Myrtle. Shout out to all the Myrtle Beach Gamecocks, man. Shout out to them. Shout out to them. So it looks like East Carolina just did something. I don't know what just happened, but East Carolina, seeing a lot of tweets about East Carolina right now. Mm-hmm. Dude, it is a rainy situation at the Hoover Med. It is a rainy situation. But today's going to be a lot of fun. I'm just watching baseball, man. Preseason magazine season, chopping up content. Dude, it's living the dream, man. Living the dream. Absolutely living the dream. Austin Miller says 8-4 Gamecocks. Lock it in. You're locked in, Austin Miller. Again, I've got 9-5 LSU. 9-5 LSU. Ruben Nation, good luck, Will. Should have been us. Pulling for you guys or girls are playing Catawba Ridge for state and softball. For you beat y'all South Florence and Catawba in both. How about that? ECU gave up 6 runs the night to USF, now losing 11 tonight. I thought something else had happened, though, because somebody tweeted, you can't keep ECU down in the postseason. You just can't do it. So I don't know. And then Plainsman parking lot said, holy ECU. I just wonder. I just was wondering if something happened. I don't know. Guys, again, I want to say this. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Of course, the podcast. I'm going to try to get it all out there at 5 o'clock Eastern as normal today. That's the time I'll set for it. So it should be out by 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll just say that. Other than that, guys, like I said, tomorrow we'll go live after the game and just roll with the punches all week long because Carolina, thank goodness, has got at minimum 2 more games in the SEC tournament. Thank goodness that is the case. It feels good to actually have baseball to watch this week. I mean, think about if you'd lost today and you're sitting there and it's like, well, it's over. All right, cool. Hope they have fun. Carolina's got baseball this week. Looking forward to it. Tomorrow is going to be a huge matchup, of course. And like I said, guys, if you want to watch it along with yours truly, you want to watch it with us, you can in the Big Cock Club Discord, patreon.com/Big Cock Club. That is the way to watch along. And we had a great time today. Looking forward to doing it again tomorrow and appreciate all those that tune into that as well. So anyways, guys, we will keep you updated on the content side of things with who the Gamecocks will have on the bump, what time the game will be tomorrow in case anything gets moved, what have you. In the meantime, guys, just stay tuned to all the content because content bleeding out the eyeballs. Also, guys, if you want to tune in tonight, AYS Sports, an LSU show. My guy Blake Ruffino will be talking Carolina LSU tonight at 8:30 on his show on Twitter and YouTube. And also, guys, be sure with the Spurs Up show, you are subscribed to the YouTube page, right? Hit that bell icon so you get notifications when we go live, when we drop new video content. Also, be sure you're subscribed and you rate the Spurs Up show on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. And we truly appreciate the love and support on that front as well. Guys, we've hit 4:30. We're going to go ahead and call it a day. Great day to have a great day. To hell with Georgia. And looking forward to a big ball game tomorrow. I'll leave you with that. Go Cox, beat LSU. And we will talk to you all tomorrow.